classes. Oh,
well, here we go. Green flag, yeah. We thought they were going to take another lap, but here we go. Green flag flies, round number 2. Here at the Antigo Lions Roaring Raceway. It's been a long, long time since we've been back here.
Cody Krantz at that number 22 started on the pole, jumps out to that early race lead. Looks like he's got Zahara right behind him, though, in that 24. Shimmick with a pretty good start as well. He's from 6th all the way up to 3rd. And now we're going 3 wide. Krause's in the mix as well. Race Visser.
Yeah, look at Race Visser.
In the pack, too.
Visser, making a little contact coming down in the infield section.
Oh, more contact. Shimmick into the back of Krantz. That's going to let Zahara move alongside. They're 3 wide up and over the tabletop.
Look at Shimmick, though, Shane, coming way on the outside. Gonna make that pass stick. Here comes Holger in that HBI ride, number 40 we talked about early on. She's been very, very quick, running 3 different divisions. Oh, one up on the bicycle.
That was Zahara. Meanwhile, Vandervoort, that 96, looks like he went around as well. There's your lead pack right now. It's Shimmick, Holcher, Visser, Krantz, your top 4. Here comes Ella, now to the inside of Shimmick as they go to the Falcon final turn. Visser forcing the issue, makes it 3 wide back onto the oval.
Oh, Shimmick over-rotates, scrubs a lot of speed, but look at the lead is going to be given over to Ella Holger. Here comes Visser. Both running very, very quick around here in Antigo.
1 lap in the books. It's Holger, Visser, Shimmick, Krantz, and Krause, your top 5. Now let's watch Race Visser as he goes to work on Ella Holger.
There is Shimmick in that number 7 Shimmick Motorsports ride. You'll see his father later on this afternoon in the Pro Lite division. Ella Holger now bringing it down the back stretch into this hard left-hander. We've seen a lot of guys have some issues coming into that turn. Very, very slippery from what we hear.
Yeah, we got a race for the lead here. Brent Visser went down to the inside of Holger. Look at the forward drive there by Holger. They're still side by side heading for Cooper Tires corner. And Holger is going to move back into the lead, so Visser was able to pull ahead just for a moment.
Oh, look at Race Visser. He's trying to go inside. He just stuck to that outside line, trying to make that crossover pass, but Ella, she's just that fast. Oh, they bumped doors.
Or door-to-door banging here into that Air Force rhythm section. Looks like Visser, at least for a moment again, pushes himself into that lead. Now they'll come into the Falcon final turn.
Race Visser now with your lead, gonna come back in front of the crowd here in Antigo, Wisconsin, where we've seen record numbers in round number 1. Truck count, car counts are just huge this year in the AMSOIL Champ Off-Road.
Holger not losing any ground right now to Visser. They're about 1 car length apart. Holger finding a lot of speed in that HBI number 40. They head through stock car turn number 2 and down our longest back straightaway.
And remember, Shane, we're on timed races this year, and there's about 4.5 minutes left in this one. We're going to run 8 minutes plus a lap in these sportsman classes your first half of the day, as Visser now opening up maybe another car length gap on Ella Holger.
Yeah, Holger not getting the car to turn in quite as tight as Visser there in that left-hand hairpin. We'll talk a lot today too, Brent, about the 2 different track surfaces that we have here at Roaring Lions Raceway. On the exterior, on the oval, that's a nice tacky red clay, but on the inside, that's just black topsoil dirt. Basically, they just burned the grass off by driving on it. And that part of the track, the interior, will change a lot as we watch racing today.
Yeah, the track is going to change quite a bit. The track crew's done a wonderful job keeping this prep throughout the weekend. Here is Race Visser coming through the rhythm section into this sweeping left-hander, coming back onto the oval like Shane was saying, that red dark clay. We're going to look back farther in the field.
Yeah, that's Krause trying to catch up to Cody Krantz. Krantz started on the pole and has fallen back just a couple spots. He's currently running in 4th. Braxton Shimmick in 3rd.
Yeah, there's Shimmick on our screen right now, going by on the bottom. Krantz still running in that 4th place spot, that number 22. You see they've rounded the jumps a little bit better today in front of the crowd, because these short course karts and some of the other classes were really hitting hard. We're taking out equipment, and we really, really don't want to do that throughout this year. So
taking a look back up front, Holcher has closed that gap a little bit now on Race Visser. And Holcher much smoother that time through the left-hander back into the infield.
Yeah, don't count out Ella Holcher. She'll be right there in the end. Like I said, over 2.5 minutes ago, she really is keeping that same pace of Race Visser in that number 80 ride. Similar looking truck to his father that you'll see in Super Stock Truck coming up in a couple races.
Another theme that we talked about a lot yesterday, Brent, was especially here at Antigo, such a technical track, you have to limit your mistakes. Right now, I haven't seen a single mistake out of Race Visser, other than maybe that contact with Holcher, but he got by that pretty cleanly and hasn't made a mistake since. We've seen maybe 2 mistakes out of Ella Holcher, and right now that's making the difference. But again, you said there's still over 2 minutes to go before we see our white flag lap as we take a look at third place.
Yeah, Shimmick, he's still running a strong third place. Just trying to carry his speed. Like we say, there's not a lot of horsepower in these trucks, so they really have to pick their lines, pick their marks, make sure they keep moving forward. As we're about at the minute 45 mark, that time by for Shimmick. This track is so fast in turn 1 and 2 through here. And a lot of the kids yesterday, Shane, they were saying, you know, what's your favorite part of the track? They're like, oh, turn 1 and 2, we can hold it wide open. As we look back at Nick Visser's boy in that number 80 ride once again.
Yeah, again, going down the backstretch, coming into that left-hander, Holcher again was closing that gap, and she's just not getting the truck to turn, to rotate a little bit on entry of that corner like Visser is right now. And again, you see that lead stretch back out.
Yeah, Race Visser doing a fine job. Like you said, he isn't making many mistakes here, if not even one. As you watch as our drone coverage following these trucks through the rhythm section one more time. So cool to watch these little trucks go through. They really work very, very well. As Race Visser now opening up a pretty big gap, Shane.
Yeah, definitely no mistakes from Visser so far. Where I'm seeing that Holcher is closing that gap back up though, Brent, is along this oval, down our Amsoil finish line straightaway into turn 1 and 2. Basically everywhere that there's a red clay surface, that's where I'm seeing Holcher a little bit faster. So I'm wondering, maybe it could be tires that are a factor here too.
Right, yeah, tires definitely are gonna play a big, big factor. I mean, the track crew comes out in between races once in a while and will put down a lot of water, so you really have to be smart and think, how quick's that water gonna brush off, and we're gonna go down to the dry, slick blue groove like we like to call it. So tire combinations are huge. A mud terrain, all terrain, hey, it's anybody's guess. Gotta pick the right combination.
Inside of 2 laps to go now here in the Muskego Crane Service short course kart race. There's your leader, Race Visser. Still keeping that, call it about a 10 car length lead over Ella Holcher, yesterday's winner in round 1. It's a good shot at Cooper Tire's corner there. You see, even with just these small short course karts, some of the ruts starting to develop. When we get into full-size truck racing, maybe super buggy racing as well, you'll see those ruts get really deep enough to swallow a tire.
Yeah, it's really hard from our cameras to see those ruts in the turns, but you talk to the drivers after the race in round 1, all the races, they said, hey man, some of those holes are 3-4 feet deep, as it looks like we'll be coming to the white flag this time by, and there it is being displayed. Race Visser, one more lap around here.
Smooth sailing ever since he's gotten into that race lead, Brent. Holcher's still in the picture a little bit. I mean, she's only 10 car lengths, but at this point, it's going to take a mistake from Race if he's going to hand over this lead to Ella Holcher.
Yeah, it's going to take a big bobble for her to take the top spot right now. Race Visser's just really calm, cool, and collected, trying to make his way to that final checkered flag here in round number 2. Just looks so smooth going through that infield section. There's Ella Holcher now about 9-10 car lengths behind. See the roof flap on Visser's car starting to come loose there. I don't know, maybe have a couple straps on there that hold that tight. Maybe come undone, but No harm, no foul. He has a couple straightaways to go. Going through the rhythm section one final time.
And we're flying alongside there, the number 80 of Race Visser from just up the road in Summit Lake. Short haul for Race and Nick as they race here at Antigo Lines Roaring Raceway with us here in rounds 1 and 2. One last time through Balkan final turn onto the Amsoil straightaway. Race Visser's got this one well in hand.
Yeah, Race Visser, he's going to take the big W here in round number 2 in the number 80 ride. Ella Holdro coming second, and look at the gap back to third. There is Shimek.
Yeah, good. Fantastic run for our top 2 finishers there as they checked out on everybody else. How about this? Battle for third at the last minute. Here comes Cody Krantz. They're going to go side by side.
Wow, that's going to be close. Look at that. Oh.
Shimek barely holds on over Krantz for third place.
Boy, Krantz got a good run coming out of that rhythm section as we look at Race Visser. Yeah, Michael Funk, he'll have something to throw at the table this afternoon. And Glazies, they're going to be crazy this afternoon as well. So here we go. The green flag is about to fly. Round number 2 in Mod Kart. Johnson on the pole.
Andy Johnson alongside Hunter Van Zyl. We saw Hunter run up front a little bit in short course kart last year. Not afraid to mix it up. He takes no prisoners when it comes to aggressive driving. He's very fast.
Yeah, speaking of fast, Troy Johnson already working his way through the field. Both the Johnson brothers are in Mod Kart this year.
Here comes that 201 though, Porter and Glazy. He was on the podium yesterday looking for an outside line as Van Zyl went way wide in that left-hand hairpin.
Yeah, Van Zyl went wide, is like you said, man, that just opened up the door. There's a lot of room for mistakes. You have to capitalize on it as we see. Look at Easton Sleeper already going to that inside, yesterday's winner.
Yeah, and then Glazy moved all the way up into first, so Porter and Glazy leads yesterday's winner, Easton Sleeper, and you saw and Glazy checked up before that first jump in the Air Force rhythm section and took a shot in the back bumper from Sleeper, and that looks like it's rattled Sleeper a little bit.
Yeah, Sleeper got a little rattled. There comes
Chase Miller, the 296, too, alongside Rahanowitz. You were about to bring him up.
Yeah, Rahanowitz is doing a fine job as well. Race driven on board on the hood of that machine. Now we go back up front once again. A lot of good battles going on. This is the future of our sport here. These cars get up and go. So we talk about momentum a lot though, Shane. But these cars, they have a lot of horsepower as well.
Yeah, you could maybe, you don't have to be quite as precise though. Obviously, it certainly does help you in the pursuit of being fast. But you can correct your steering a little bit with the throttle, whereas in the short course kart, you have to be extremely precise with your inputs.
Yeah, and then you put all the ruts in this track, and it really gets really hard to negotiate throughout this afternoon. The track, it's just off-road racing. You really have to be ready for whatever is in front of you. As you see the Johnson brothers still running pretty well. Oh, it looks like Troy got a little wide.
Yeah,
gave that spot away.
Gave it away to the other Inglesi brother. That's Antonio Inglesi. Both of the Inglesi brothers each picked up one win yesterday, and Brent, before we kicked off this race, I talked about Michael Funk. Once again, just like yesterday, he's dealing with some traffic and is a little bit further back in that 207.
Yeah, it's always hard to come from the back to the front, but these drivers, they're out here to win. Like Easton Sleeper, that red plate is a reason why it's on that truck. He's last year's points champion. What better way to start the season to pull off a win? Don't count him out yet. He's just trying to get a little bit more smooth here through that big sweeper.
Seeing a lot of speed, though, from Porter and Glazy. And again, that hood on Porter and Glazy's truck, just like yesterday, flopping up a little bit. If it flops up a little bit farther and maybe gets caught somehow, that could, harm his visibility and really be a hindrance to his efforts right now.
Yeah, you don't want that hood to come up. That could really cause havoc here in the Mod Kart class as you watch him coming through that tricky section. So tough to go around those tires, and we've seen a lot of guys hitting those tractor tires yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like Porter Inglesi, that 201 running a little bit more conservatively than Sleeper or Antonio Inglesi through that Air Force rhythm section. So I'm sure Sleeper saw that the last couple laps, that maybe he could pick up a little bit of ground there through that rhythm section.
Yeah, Easton Sleeper trying to hunt down our race leader. And you got to imagine, if you're in Glazy, you're seeing that hood go up and down. There's a 212. Look at him just coming in, closing that gap. We got another battle on the track.
Yeah, that's Funk. He's worked his way up into the top 5, and he's working on the 211 of Troy Johnson. That's the battle for 4th.
Yeah, Funk doing a fine job. You talked about him earlier. He was going to be someone to reckon with in round number 2. There's Zachary Rahanowitz.
Anybody who can charge through the field like Funk did yesterday in a class that's this competitive, you know he's got something cooking, and obviously nothing can rattle his cage. You have to stay calm when you're working through traffic. As we look back out front, the Inglesi brothers are surrounding Easton Sleeper right now, and we have a three-way battle for the lead.
The Inglesi brothers came prepared here for round number 2. That hood still flapping around. We're kind of babysitting. Here comes Sleeper. Sleeper going to make it too wide here coming into the final turn. They're side by side. Let's see. Sleeper's going to go to the bottom.
Trying that outside in. It's a little bit dry down there on that black dirt. Not a lot of traction. The tires don't stick quite as well on completely dry surface as we've reached our halfway caution. So Porter and Inglesi in that 201 from Felch, Michigan will pick up the 2 bonus points. Sleeper will get a bonus point for finishing second there. And Antonio Inglesi will come across the line third at our halfway caution.
Boy, Antonio, he has a lot of speed. He came through the second half of that first part of the race, and I'll tell you, he's really, really quick. We'll have to watch. And Easton Sleeper, he's kind of in an Inglesi sandwich here this afternoon. He's not only got to try to get that lead, he's got to kind of protect that spot for second. But if you're Easton Sleeper, you're going for that win.
See Porter there in that 201 dragging some body panels.
We are now in the mandatory competition yellow like Shane was talking about. It's the halfway point of the race as we're still looking at Inglesi's hood. And yesterday we seen that hood flopping up and down, so maybe the same issue.
Yeah, you and I both, Brent, going back, through the years of short course off-road racing, we've seen those moments where the hood can fly up in the wrong way, get stuck, and then a driver is basically driving blind, or worse, he'd have to pull off the track.
Yeah, years back, I remember the late Rick Huseman. He had that panel come up at Crandon. He was looking out the side window of his truck, and he still finished, I think, second or third in that race, pitching it sideways. Not easy to run when that hood is up inside your vision here as we look at one of the Johnson brothers getting ready for the second half of this race.
Porter Inglesi is back in control of the field. That's got to be a tough spot right now for Sleeper, knowing that Antonio, who's behind him, actually caught up to him in that first half, trying to manage that and still try to run down our leader.
Well, here we go, Shane, the second half. Antonio Inglesi, he's the guy to watch for. He's running in third. Keep an eye on our race leaders. Porter Inglesi with a good restart, about 2-3 car lengths over Easton Sleeper, Shane.
Yeah, pulled away just a little bit. You see different line choice starting to develop on that clay through the stock car turns. They go down that long backstretch, and this tight left-hander, we're going to talk about this corner just about every race all day as a point where dramatic things are going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of action is going to happen down in that 180 turn, coming back into the infield. Here we go. Antonio Inglesi now starting to reel in. Easton Sleeper once again hard on the binders, trying to get underneath.
Yeah, Sleeper's making sure to protect that inside through Cooper Tire's corner. Tell you what, though, that 212 of Inglesi, he's got to watch out because he's got one of the Johnson brothers hot on his heels.
Easton Sleeper still out in front of that group. There is Inglesi still holding on to this lead. That hood just holding on by a couple pins. But man, look at that straightaway speed he has. He comes out of that 180 and just flies towards what will be our checkered flag here in about a minute. We will see that white flag. Here comes Easton Sleeper to the outside.
Yeah, Sleeper's running a little bit higher. I've watched him the last couple laps through turns 1 and 2 on the oval. It doesn't look like he's able to, he gains a little bit, but then he's giving it back in other parts of the course, so Sleeper's got to find something new that Porter Inglesi doesn't yet see.
Porter Inglesi still out in front, just running clean air. Those clean laps really helps. Not worrying about what's behind you. You have spotters. They're just telling you to stay calm, stay patient. Just keep running your lines, hitting your marks. And right here, you watch Porter Inglesi really gets a little bit off the gas there, and Easton Sleeper flies through that section.
Yeah, two entirely different strategies through that Air Force rhythm section. Here we go, 212 Antonio Inglesi putting pressure once again on last year's champion, Easton Sleeper. Antonio looks down to the inside, not quite enough traction down there. Trying to make his own race line down there on the far inside where it's still pretty wet from the water we laid down overnight.
Our leader's still well out in front. Here we go. Funk now trying to make his way into the top three. He's in fourth right now. Easton Sleeper running that outside line. Such a cool shot here from our drone coverage going in this hard turn. You see that white tractor tire. That'll play a big factor later on that we've seen in round one.
Up and over the tabletop in the infield, you're flying alongside Easton Sleeper, and we've been talking about Michael Funk. We knew he'd be in the mix, and now we've just about got a three-way battle for that second place spot.
Yeah, Funk, he smells blood in the water. He sees them right out in front of him. We'll see. Now's the time. You got about a minute to go. We should be coming to the white flag lap this time by. Still Porter and Glazy out front. Look at this battle heating up for second. Here's Shane, here we go.
Antonio Glazy again, he's been looking down to the inside of Sleeper. They're gonna go side by side down the Amsoil straightaway. There's the white flag. Funk is coming on strong as well. We're gonna have three trucks here battling for second place into turn one.
You would think that Glazy had the preferred line, but Easton Sleeper running that cushion on the outside, trying to carry his speed, and our leader just pulling away. He loves to hear that these guys are messing with each other back and forth. It just gives them a little bit more breathing room. Here comes Funk.
Funk looking down to the inside of Glazy. He's got the line. He's going to move Glazy off the race line, and Funk back up into the top three.
Nice pass by Funk. Now his eyes are set on Easton Sleeper. A couple turns left to go for last year's points champion.
Back out front, it's Porter and Glazy still in control, but the battle rages on behind him as Funk now up into third, trying to run down the 213 of Sleeper through the Air Force rhythm section. One last time into Falcon final corner.
Sleeper looks to play the protected line. Here comes Funk. I don't know if there's going to be enough time, but our winner this afternoon in round number 2, Porter and Glazy, even with the hood flapping around, is going to take the win.
Easton Sleeper holds on for second. Pat ourselves on the back, Brent. We were talking about Mike Funk, and for good reason. That guy is a second half driver in these races, and once again finds his way onto the podium here in round number 2. And a great run by Antonio and Glazy as well. He was mixing it up there in the top 3.
The 25 car field here, Shane. Here we go.
Green flag for 1600 Light Buggy. Holcher and Delory flying that pirate flag, starting on the front row. And it looks like Delory is going to move ahead into this race lead here in the early going. So you see this huge field wind their way through turns 1 and 2 real quick, Brent. You mentioned that 192 Danielle Reeves. Yesterday was her first race ever in Light Buggy, and yesterday was also her birthday. So happy birthday to Danielle yesterday. Sorry we missed you on your special day, but welcome to Amsoil Championship Off-Road. And Brent, she started 23rd, so she's got some work to do as we look up front, and Roloff has taken over the lead. Roloff and Booth side by side into Cooper Tire's corner. Delory there on the inside got washed out a little bit. So did Roloff with some trouble.
Pete.
Delory makes some contact with Billy Booth.
Oh, Pete Delory making contact going into the rhythm section.
Heschke now into the race lead along with the 177. Colin Schultz, yesterday's winner, all the way up into second. You see Delory flying that pirate flag there. A little bit of a pirate move there on Billy Booth. Plundered that second place spot.
Yeah, just a little contact going into the rhythm section. That's all it took. Now Billy Booth has to put his head down, go back to work. Here comes Stengel now to the outside, that blazing orange car. Oh, we got one going around into the tractor tire,
Heschke.
upside down.
That was Eric Heschke, that 105.
Upside down into one of those huge course markers.
Yeah, we'll wait to find out whether that'll be a local yellow or a full course yellow.
I don't know, it'll get interesting. We'll have to see as Stengel making another pass, moving his way through the field in that 172. Billy Booth there working his way back up through the field as well, as he didn't get the start he would like to see.
Yeah, he had that contact with Delory, as now he's going to work on Shillman. Shillman tightened up that corner quite a bit. Booth ran out of room, and then Shillman almost got into the back bumper of Stengel there as they head into the Air Force rhythm section.
Here comes Billy Booth through that rhythm section. Look at those cars dancing back and forth, just tank swapping. Not a lot of travel on these cars, Shane. You've been around these cars for a long, long time. You can tell you've driven one of these cars. It's not an easy landing.
Yeah, these are Volkswagen. They're built on Volkswagen the Bug frame. So it's a torsion beam front suspension, torsion beam rear suspension. Very little travel. They're only running one small shock per corner. So it's a violent ride in there. And the speed maybe from the grandstands doesn't look very fast, but you're only sitting about 9 inches off the ground. It feels like you're going twice as fast as you are, as we've got Shillman now looking to the inside of Stingle. It's still Colin Schultz, that 177, the Flying Dutchman colors out front.
Yeah, Colin Schultz doing what he needs to do. Just flying around here in Antigo, Wisconsin, as you see the track really starting to come in. As we talk about this 1600 light buggy class, a lot of cars, a lot of entries this season, just like every other class in the field.
Yeah, light buggy, one of the most affordable ways to break into short course off-road racing. You know, if you can put together $10,000 or so, you can get yourself a competitive car and go racing.
I always call them an overpowered go-kart because people are like, oh, they don't go that fast. I'm like, get in one of those things. They really do scoot. It's a fun ride as you watch Stingo coming around this big, big sweeper. He's going to be one to reckon with in this second half as we're getting to about the 5-minute mark of this one.
Yeah, another thing about this class that makes it so exciting, it truly is a driver's class because you got the 4-speed manual transmission, you got the 3 pedals, no power steering, and you've got to be consistent. This is another one of those momentum classes we talk about, so you have to be consistent and hit your marks every single time around the race course, and you're fighting the car with no power steering.
Yeah, there's no room for mistakes at all here in Antigo, and we see coming through this section, it's just a big switchback, and then you head into this big rhythm section for these 1600 light buggies as they're dancing through that section. So cool to watch these little cars going in and out. Oh, something came off of Stingle. I don't know if it came off of one of these lap cars. It looked like maybe the air filter came off, so definitely not Stingle. He might have ran it over.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Just got word that it did fall off the lap car, not off of Stingle's car, but you were right, Brent. Looked like the airbox fell right off the top, and we do see that happen to these cars once in a while as we've reached our competition yellow, so the race just a little bit over halfway done here.
Yeah, we're at the halfway point. We like to mix it up. You run the first half as hard as possible. If you're Schultz, you just had that clean air. You're picking your lines, picking your marks. And you got to remember, this is off-road racing. Every lap is different on this track. We talked about the roots. We talked about how deep they can get in these corners. And for these 1600 light buggies, it's not an easy task.
So there was a lot of shuffling going on there. We will reset the race order, the running order here for you. Colin Schultz from Neenah in that 177 running out front. He was yesterday's winner. Right behind him, yesterday's second place finisher, Greg Stingle. Jake Shillman running in third. Taylor Roloff is fourth. Colin's twin brother Connor Schultz running in fifth in that 129. Delory still up there in sixth. 132, I believe that's Tyler Hoffman running in seventh. He started all the way back in 12th, so a good early run for him. Then it's Jorgensen who finished third yesterday. Weans, the man we call Tizzle, in that 195. Looks like Troy Peterson also in the top 10 along with Trent Hansen.
We're going to come to a stop there in the infield. Our pace truck holding up our huge field here this afternoon.
Got one car stalled on another part of the race course, so they're going to take care of that and make sure we have a wide open track here when we go back to green flag racing. Looks like we're also sorting out a few cars that got shuffled out of order after they crossed that finish line.
I'm looking on our sheets. Pete Delory, he had a good run yesterday, finished sixth, I believe. Yesterday he started second. He's back to sixth from a little contact with Billy Booth. As we look at our race leader, Schultz, there's Stingle, and if you're Schultz, you know you have a good company behind you.
Yeah, Stingle's been doing this a long time. Looking at the field, there's hands down, he's been racing here in this light buggy class longer than any of these guys, and I think it was Colin Schultz yesterday on the podium Stingle had remarked that his first win was in 1996. His first win at Antigo, I should say, was in 1996. Colin said, you know, it's funny that he said that because I was born in 1997.
He's like, so he has a little bit more experience, a little bit more track time. I'm like, I think so.
Yeah, probably a couple thousand hours more seat time behind the wheel of that car.
Well, we're getting ready to go back to the green flag here with about a minute and a half to go in this one. 1600 Light Buggy. We'll see if Stingo can get a run on Schultz. Here, a lot of good company coming up here. Watch. The green flag going to be displayed as they come over this little roller jump. And we're getting word from race officials it's going to be green, white, checkered. Pay attention, it's going to start to heat up here in turn 1 and 2.
Schultz all alone on the front row in that Delaware-style restart. You see Connor Schultz, the 129, has already gotten around Taylor Roloff. So he's up into the top 4. He's going to work on Jake Schillman as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, look at Connor Schultz. You're right, Shane. Look at him come hard into the infield. Just throwing that car in there, trying to get that third place spot. They're side by side coming into the infield section. And here comes Stingle. Stingle all over the back door of Schultz.
Connor Schultz and Jake Schillman still side by side. And finally, Connor Schultz able to take over the third place spot. So Stingle stuck in between the two Schultz twins. And we've seen those Schultz boys mix it up a little bit. They like to drive aggressively. They're very fast. And again, we'll repeat ourselves once more. It's about limiting mistakes here on such a technical track like we have here at Roaring Lions Raceway.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Here we go. Look at the battle for second starting to heat up. Schultz and Stingle. This could be a Schultz show here at the end. 1 lap to go. This time by 3 wide.
Stingle's got a run now on the outside of Colin Schultz. Connor down to the inside. So we've got Connor going to work on Colin. Stingle is still there on the outside. He's got a great run out of turn 2.
Watch Colin Schultz. He's going to try to drive it in hard here. He did it last time and gained him a spot. Stingle on the outside. Oh, we got some contact.
Schillman comes all the way down, and the two Schultz brothers make contact wheel to wheel. Stingle back into the mix into second place.
Well, Shane, we talk about those mistakes. Look at it. It costs you a half a car length if you're Schultz. Here comes Stingle on that inside. They're both babysitting that inside. Oh, Stingle goes around.
Connor Schultz got into the back bumper of Stingle. Stingle pulls back out on the race course in front of Connor Schultz. Schillman is still there in fourth. Through the Air Force rhythm section, Colin Schultz in control.
Colin Schultz, 1 turn to go. His eyes are set on the checkered flag. Look at this battle for second. Who is going to finish in second?
More contact. Schillman and Connor Schultz, they're side by side. That's the battle for third. Checkered flag is out. Colin Schultz takes the win. Stingle second, Connor Schultz, then it's Roloff. Jorgensen in the top 5. Tizzle, Schillman, Hoffman, Delory finishing with a flat tire. And how about that? Eric Heschke rolled over in the first half of that race and finished inside the top 10.
Wow, what a comeback here in 1600 Light Buggy. Schultz with your win in the 177. Stingle in the 172. Bright orange car is going to come in second. And what a race here in 1600 Light Buggy. Jason Flugret in the 501. And here we go, Shane. Green flag is flown. The first truck race of the day is underway.
Nice jump off that start by TJ Ewert in that 520. But Shanik with a strong run on the outside. Again, you're seeing those 2 different lanes through turn 1 as we got a couple trucks going around. Pippo and Wurzma.
Yeah, Pippo, not a good start for him as we look at Diesel Shanik. Look at him. He's not wasting any time. He's going to try to tiptoe around this left-hander.
Yeah, we saw the water truck crew put a lot of water down. That's why we saw those 2 trucks go around as Belanger in that 519 making it 3 wide through the infield.
Yeah, look at Belanger in round 1. He took a win. He's a rookie this season here in that 519. Showing the way around right now is that 593 of Diesel Shanik, and he's a past champion. He knows how to win.
Yeah, that Big Iron Chevrolet, and those guys are constantly improving that truck. A couple of years ago, they actually shortened it from a long box truck to a short box truck to better handle these technical tracks. That work's starting to pay off here as Ewert now side by side with Belanger. Belanger puts a bumper onto Shanik. Yep. You can see just how hard these tires are searching for that traction on this wet track.
Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to feather that throttle, grab another gear. As we look, we got another pass going on for that third final podium spot. Wow, look at Belanger just hucking it into that inside.
Belanger's an old stock car guy, so he knows how to handle these oval turns. We saw him pitch the truck way sideways, actually made the line work a little bit for him. And as that water works in a little bit better and it gets a little bit tackier, he'll be one to watch as we look at Ewert still feeling all that pressure from the 500 of Corey Holcher.
Oh, Sinkowski gets a little sideways coming out of that infield turn. As we look at Holter, you're right, that's a former Michael Funk truck. They made it into a stock truck, used to be a super stock truck, so good for Corey Holter to get his feet wet in the truck division as he's heading back towards that rhythm section. Still out front, you can see him at the top of our screen, Diesel Shannick. And Diesel Shannick, you talked about him cutting that frame down, shortening up the wheelbase. That was a former Matt Ives truck. He won a lot of championships in that truck. Matt's no longer racing in Champ Off-Road, but man, he has a lot of W's. So Diesel, he bought a good piece.
Another lap in the books here, Brent, as we saw Holcher make that move on Ewert finally. Ewert's another driver to look out for. He picked up 2 wins yesterday in the last year, in the 2020 Champ Off-Road season.
Yeah, Ewert does a fine job in this stock truck division. Here we go. Belanger now starting to make things a little heated up. Coming on the back door of Diesel Shannick, and you can see as they come in that turn, you can come in as hard as you want, but remember, the horsepower is very limited. The travel's very limited on these trucks. They've come a long, long way over time, but hey, you really have to pick your lines, pick your marks, because it's a rough ride.
Another look at our battle for the lead here. Belanger slowly reeling in Diesel Shannick. You see these trucks, limited suspension, Brent, tiptoeing here through this Air Force rhythm section. Talk a little bit about the shocks on these trucks.
Yeah, the shocks, there's not much travel in these machines. About 11 inches of front travel, about 12 inches in the rear, as Belanger making a little contact with our leader. As Shannick now opening up the gap. But yeah, these trucks are very limited, and I've gotten a chance to drive them for multiple seasons, and you just got to be patient. Me and my twin brother, we try to keep each other calm because, yeah, you can go as hard as you want, but to finish first you have to finish, and in this class, it's a big feat.
Belanger still trying to run down Diesel Shannick. A little bit further back in the field, Brent, Ewert, who started on the pole, was about to pull into the hot pits with a flat tire, and there he goes. So hopefully he's able to time that with the competition yellow, get that tire changed quick. I know Brandon and Kenny and the boys back there in the hot pit, they'll be quick to put a new tire on that 520 of Ewert.
Yeah, they'll be ready, get that tire changed, get them back out here. Here's Diesel Shannick. We go back up front, reset this order. Shannick, Belanger, and here comes Holger. Look at Holger now.
Yeah, Holcher's another rookie here in this Launderville Steel stock truck field. He showed a lot of speed yesterday and found his way to the podium with that second place finish.
Belanger now getting a nice little run, hanging out the rear of that truck, trying to carry his speed as we're going to come to that mandatory competition caution. That time by, it's Shannick, Belanger, Holger, your top 3. Then look at Stan Wood, that Vape Escape Chevrolet now in the top 4. Sinkowski 5th.
Yeah, Stan Wood had 1 win last year in stock truck. We see him do a little bit better, it seems, at the more wide open tracks like your ERX and your Crandon, some high speed tracks, but this is a good run for him early on, and he had to fight some traffic because he started all the way back in 11th, so up 7 spots there in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to plan your race out, it never goes the way you plan it, but when I used to race, we were always saying, hey, if you're starting in the back of the field, you try to make it into that top 4 by the mandatory competition caution, because then you got a shot at this thing. But now with our timed races, it's really quick, so you really have to be on your A game and pounce on any opportunity possible. As our pace truck picking up the field, Diesel Shannick looking very, very quick, hey Shane?
Yeah, he was fast yesterday, found his way onto the podium with that 3rd place finish. But he's got yesterday's winner, Scott Belanger, right behind him in that Joski Trucking number 519. Like we said, Belanger, he's got a ton of seat time on oval tracks, racing all kinds of different stock cars. He was very successful there. So he knows his way around the clay track, and clearly a lot of those skills that he's learned on the ovals that they've applied here to this very tight technical track, even with the two different racing surfaces.
Right. And he's adapted pretty well his first couple times in this stock truck division. A lot of heavy hitters, and he's really showing the gloves out this weekend. And it'll be interesting to see as we're coming through that rhythm section and coming back to this green flag here. It's Diesel Shannick, Belanger, and Holger. And keep an eye on Stan Wood and Sinkowski. This race is not over yet. The green flag flies. Here we go. Diesel Shannick not missing a heartbeat. Opens up about a half a car length. And here comes Holger. Look at Holger to the inside.
Right away, Holger puts his nose underneath Belanger. But Holger has Wood right on his back bumper as they come out of turn 2 down the backstretch. And Sinkowski now up into the top 5 as well. Sinkowski, he won two races last year as a rookie in this class.
Look at Belanger going to the inside. He's been trying that the last couple laps of this race. He's going to go side by side once again with Shannick, but Shannick has that preferred line. He can pick where he wants to go here.
We'll watch Belanger try to carry that outside through Cooper Tire's corner. Excellent clean driving there by Shannick. Yeah, you're right, Brent. Belanger was going to try the old crossover move there. Nice job by Diesel playing defense. As here comes Holger now alongside Belanger. 3 wide. This is a race for the lead. 3 wide as they come into the Falcon final turn.
Wow, look at Holger. He goes way up against a cushion, almost into the K-rail.
That's going to hand the lead over to Belanger. Now your top 3 as they are on the race course, the same as your top 3 finishing order yesterday. Wood is still there in 4th, Ringelstetter 5th, Sinkowski 6th. We see a lot of smoke there out of the 599 of Ringelstetter. It looks like his day may be over.
Not a good day for Ringelstetter, and I'll tell you, Holger is really starting to put the pressure on our race leader once again. He looked to be one of the fast trucks in the field. Oh, a little love tap from Diesel Shannick. Gets him a little squirrely.
Yeah, Diesel's been around this class for a long time. Like we said, he's won a couple class championships. He did not intend to run into Holger there whatsoever. It's just very slick on entry on that left-hand hairpin. Nice job by both those drivers to gather it back up, and they're right back up to race speed.
Here we go again. Holger trying to run a different line through that rhythm section. Belanger trying to make that truck really, really wide. As here comes Holger. Holger really drives it in deep, coming back to the oval. Should be coming close to that white flag. Green flag still out this time by.
Yeah, it'll be 2 laps to go this time. Holger closing in now on Scott Belanger. That's your race for the lead. And behind them, Brent, the 512 of Stan Wood has gotten up into 3rd.
Yeah, Stan Wood, that Babe Escape Chevrolet, now starting to throw on some heat in the top 3. Belanger needs to really focus, keep an eye out front because, man, his truck is really, really fast. There's Stan Wood in that 512 we were just talking about. Now Diesel Shannick moving into the 4th place spot. Sinkowski now wants a piece of the top 4.
About a lap and a half to go as we look up front. Flying alongside Corey Holger, that number 500. Still trying to close up that gap to Scott Belanger.
Boy, look at Holger. He's trying to bonsai that rhythm section, and he needs to do that because the white flag should be coming out this next time by. If you're Holger, though, Shane, you really just have to focus. You know you're fast, and right there, that costed you. Costed you the
way
whole
around
race.
Goes Corey Holger.
Tough break for Corey Holger.
Finally gathers it back up, Brent, but he's all the way back into 6th place. So tough break there, as that's going to put Stan Wood up into 2nd. But here's your battle for 2nd. Look at that slide job by Diesel Shannick.
Yeah, he powered right through turns 1 and 2. Now Stan Wood has to go back to work. This is the final lap here in the Lunderville Steel Stock Truck Division. And Belanger, look at the gap on our camera. About 8-10 car lengths. He looks to be in control of this one, Shane.
Yeah, that was a lucky turn of events there for Belanger. As you see, Wood went a little bit wide there. He's got to be careful. Sinkowski is now in the mix for that race for 3rd.
Sinkowski now is trying to put the pressure on. Again, we are on the last lap here in Stock Truck. A new section here at Antigo. One of my favorite sections. It's a really, really tricky coming into this rhythm section. Here comes Stan Wood to the outside.
Great run by Wood. They're going to be side by side into the Falcon final turn.
Look at Stan Wood. He gets hard on the binders, tries to turn that truck, gets to the inside. I don't know. They're bumper to bumper.
Checkered flag is out for Belanger. He takes the win. Second place at the line is going to go to the Big Iron Chevrolet of Diesel Shannick. And the Vape Escape truck number 512, Stan Wood, will be fourth.
Wow, what a race here in the Lunderville Steel Stock Truck Division, but doubling down.
Sinkowski did stay in front of Holcher there for fourth, so Sinkowski fourth and Holcher fifth.
Sweeping the weekend this afternoon. Open wheel racing to be exact. 1600 single buggy ready to take the green flag. Here we go. 2x2 start.
Thompson in that number 345 started on the pole, got a pretty good jump. He's got the 307 of Colton Burns up alongside as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, Burns on the backstretch. Here we go in that left-hander. A lot of cars coming in here. They could cause havoc here. All of them getting through there very, very clean. Just when I say that.
Yeah, big stack up there. Looks like Mottinger was a little bit off the pace down there in that left-hander. Now they come back towards Cooper Tires corner. Still Thompson holding off Burns. James Thompson. Of course, a couple years ago racing Light Buggy at Crandon, Thompson had a horrific crash, ran into a cement barrier. Fortunately, he was okay. The car was not, but he was able to get it all back together as he moved into 1600 Buggy.
Look at Thompson now still out in front in that 345. A lot of company starting to head his way as we're side by side on the front stretch.
Burns to the inside, and look who's come to play on the outside. That's Tony Keepers.
Tony Keepers on the outside. Had a chance to talk with him. He's ready for this season as he's showing a lot of speed coming on this back straightaway.
Keepers going to look to the outside, maybe try an outside in move.
Well, looks like we have a car that came to a stop.
It's like everybody's got it all sorted out. We're three wide again. That's the 312 of Fitzgerald.
Yeah, down having round one the way he wanted it planned because he had a flat tire. Cost him a lot of positions. Now he finds himself up in the top five already. So Johnny Fitzgerald, Kenna Tires on board this season. That's a Bruce Fraley chassis.
Yeah, brand new car that they built in the offseason. He'll now go to work on the 305. That's Thomas Trelstad from Litchfield, Minnesota. Travis Trelstad finished on the podium yesterday. He's running in fourth. You see Fitzgerald going to work now on Tom Trelstad as they go through turns 1 and 2.
Fitzgerald in that 312 Kenna Tires back ride, trying to work his way up on the inside. Watch here. It's so cool. Watch these guys go to work, trying to make these passes. Watch Fitzgerald. He's going to try to cross him over. Oh, he got the wish and the hope. A little mistake.
Yeah, Trelstad spun around.
Tough break for Trelstad, but that's how it goes here. It's really, really tricky here in Antigo.
That's going to move Travis Trelstad right there in that 380 car up into third place. And right behind him, defending class champ Billy Booth now in the mix as well.
Billy Booth now starting to work his way through the field. As you can just see how gnarly these rhythm sections are for these single buggies. Again, limited travel, a little bit better shock preparation, a lot better of a shock package to be exact for these cars, a little bit better of a ride.
Ron, thinking back to some of those older races in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s when Antigo was really peaking as a national tour stop. Who are some of the buggy guys that you remember from back in those days that would have dominated that 1600 buggy class?
Well, back then the Barons were one. You take Steiny from Rhinelander and a few of the other ones there.
Steinhardt we'll see later in Super Buggy.
We'll see in the Super Buggies. They all started up and moved their way up into the Super Buggy category.
One guy I remember winning, seems like he won every single buggy race on the whole weekend, always, was Dan Badeau. He was racing like 4 different buggy classes and was constantly running up front. That would have been around like 1991. Some of my earliest racetrack memories hearing Dan Badeau's name so many times that you were saying it over the loudspeaker.
Yeah, Dan Badeau was a big buggy driver, moved into trucks later on as in the future. And I remember Scotty Taylor doing some running back. We used to run all the way in the back of the track, out around the pond back there and back up onto the back of the track. And that was quite a course. And this has changed a little bit too, because we used to have a bank over here when they would come down by the Cooper Tires corner. And then also over here, you guys made the track a little longer coming out of the back straightaway into the turn number 3.
Well, here we go. Look at this. The battle for the lead is starting to heat up. Tony Keepers and Johnny Fitzgerald. Man, Fitzgerald, after having that bad round number 1, he's back in contact with our race leader, and I just love watching these guys drive. They know how to wheel these cars.
Going back to 2012, Brent, I think the only driver in this field who had raced on Antigo before we took a few years off from racing here was John Fitzgerald. As you see, Keepers falls off the side of the Air Force rhythm section, able to gather it back up, but Fitzgerald now at the preferred line.
Yeah, Fitzgerald does a little bit of a slide job, and he's opened up about a car length gap over Tony Keepers in that 352 as we're going to come to that mandatory competition caution. The halfway point in this one, Shane. About 3.5 minutes to go here in 1600 single buggy.
All it took was that one mistake from Tony Keepers, That's been the theme all weekend. Manage your mistakes, and that was a big mistake there from Keepers. Left the door wide open after he got hung out to dry in that rhythm section.
Yeah, we've said it time and time again throughout this weekend already. Limit your mistakes, and you'll end up towards the front, and it costs you very, very quickly in a very competitive class here.
So at halfway, it is Fitzgerald, Keepers, Travis Trelstad, Baczynski, Billy Booth up there in the top 5. Then it's Burns, Tom Trelstad, Thompson, Sloan, and Ambos rounding out the top 10. Do you have a favorite treasured memory, Ron, of being involved in those the golden age of short course off-road racing here at Antigo?
I would say watching the drivers out of Rhinelander, Glenn Matthews, and a few of them come in here and tear the track up, just terrifically in the buggies areas. And then watch the truck drivers coming in when they first started big time. And then, like Jimmy Johnson, when he would come here and pit here in Wisconsin. So over the years, you watch all these drivers moving themselves up, and now I'm looking at second generation and third, and I'm going, I don't recognize those names. But yeah, you get some good memories back then, and we had our issues. We had a lot of fun, especially running in the mud out here. I think people remember the times that we had that happen. I'm so thankful this weekend.
Oh, I remember.
Sunshine. Yeah,
it was always one day.
You were in it too.
Yeah, you had to put a ton of tear-offs on, and there was some times where we didn't know if we would even get the weekend in, but you guys made it happen.
We sure tried, yeah.
And we're glad to be back here. I love this little track.
Well, this is the second track to start off-road after Crandon. And then it became Park River after that too, So we got a pretty good history going here. Started out with snowmobile racing, actually, and then moved into the off-road stuff and stock cars over the years, so pretty good track.
Yeah, a ton of rich history. As Brent, you're pointing at the monitor, Fitzgerald showing a little bit of smoke on this pace lap.
Yeah, we'll have to babysit that and see what's going on. Maybe it's nothing serious, but it's really pumping out.
We talked about the weather. Temperatures are in the 80s already this early in the morning. We'll keep an eye on it for you.
Well, here we go. We're going to restart this one. John Fitzgerald, Tony Keepers, your top 2. They have been the class of the field here. We'll see if Keepers can put the pressure on our race leader.
Going back to that smoke out of the back of that 312 Fitzgerald car, Tony Keepers saw it. He was right behind him in that pace line, so maybe we'll see Keepers play it patient here a little bit for these first couple laps of our second half.
Yeah, Keepers is going to babysit him for a little bit and see. He really just needs to put his head down and try to take that spot away, because John Fitzgerald, they're in great equipment. Bruce Fraley, he's been around for multiple seasons, winning a lot of championships. Now he puts John Fitzgerald in the car, and he hasn't missed a heartbeat.
So we're riding alongside now. We've got 2 world-class drone pilots here with this weekend. Captain Vanover, a former Drone Racing League world champion, and Justin Smash, 2 of the best on the planet at flying these first-person view drones.
Yeah, giving us some of the best footage we've ever seen in short course off-road racing. As we have 2 laps to go, that time is starting to run out.
Meanwhile, we had some trouble a little bit further back. Trelstad, who was running in third, had an issue, slowed up for a bit. Baczynski now up into the top 3. As we look at our lead battle, Keeper's trying to reel in John Fitzgerald. For the second to last time, they'll dive down onto the dark dirt infield.
You see Keepers, he's really trying to widen out his turns. You really want to try to get a run. As look at him, he goes all the way from the right side of the track, all the way to the left side of the track, because you really want to make him round in this turn because it really tightens up on exit here.
Yeah, you don't have that horsepower on demand that you can just point the car and go. You really have to carry as much speed as you possibly can. As we look, this is our battle for third. Both Trellstad cars side by side behind Baczynski. Both Trellstad cars getting crossed up. They almost come into one another. 305. Thomas Trellstad is on the inside.
Oh, contact, 3 of them.
Trellstad on Trellstad violence there in the Falcon final turn as our white flag is out for Fitzgerald and Keepers. That's going to put Baczynski all alone in third. And Billy Booth with a flat right front tire and some suspension damage running in fourth.
Tough break for Billy Booth, one of our favorites coming into this weekend, but right now we're taking a look at Baczynski in that 324. He's a little farther back from our race leaders. They have about the same gap as Fitzgerald now, just starting to check out this last lap.
Yeah, I like to call John Fitzgerald the only professional 1600 buggy driver in the world because, you know, that's a Bruce Fraley car that Bruce owns. Fitz, you know, he does the prep work himself and he's very hands-on, but he's basically, you know, a hired driver for Bruce Fraley's car.
Yeah, he is, and it's so cool to see him, how far he's come. And John Fitzgerald looking at the checkered flag. He's going to win round number 2 in the 312 Canada Tires ride.
Tony Keepers from Argonne, Wisconsin across the line in second. Trellstad will finish a lap down with a flat tire. That'll mean Jeff Baczynski, all the way from, I believe, Indiana. Wanata, Indiana, in fact, will finish in third.
John Fitzgerald, your big winner.
Luke Alcock's a good run in fourth in that Silver Bullet car. And James Thompson, who started on the pole, finishes fifth. And sixth place, a rookie in the 1600 class, Terry Sloan, all the way from Orlando, Florida, finishes
Wow,
sixth.
they're coming from everywhere here this season in the AMSOIL Championship Off-Road Series. And I'll tell you, Johnny Fitzgerald, he had a bad day in round 1, but a great day in round 2. And look at Parsons. Parsons bringing it back. We'll round out our 18 truck field, and here we go, Shane. Green flag is flown. Keep an eye on these drivers. They are very, very talented. A lot of these guys have been in it for a long, long time.
Pyburn had that pole position. They drew the invert for today. He finished fourth yesterday. They drew a 4, so he started on the pole, but it's already 3 wide. We've got Machosik looking to the inside. Pyburn going way wide in that hairpin.
Yeah, and that's what it cost you early on. You lost 2 spots already coming into that left-hander. Here comes Holger already to the inside. Joey Machosik, a great run yesterday, Shane. Already finds himself in the lead.
Yeah, he was basically, he needed one more chance to get around Nick Bing, but ran out of time. You see trouble there for Trey Beauchamp, pushing way wide through that corner. Back up front, Bing is going to pull alongside the 844 of Holcher.
Oh, Nick Visser upside down, last year's points champion.
Tough
Shane.
break. That's right on the exit of the Cooper Tires corner, so I'm assuming he got tangled with someone there.
Here we go, back up front. Nick Bing, round 1 winner, already getting by the 844 of Ben Holger. Coming into turns 1 and 2, Shane.
Machosik checking out a little bit there as Bing was doing battle with Holcher. We should see at least a local yellow as they tend to the upside down truck of Nick Visser as they head down the backstretch.
Yeah, Nick Visser still upside down as we look. Oh, Joey Machosik over-rotated a little bit, giving Nick Bing a couple more spots on the track, and here comes Ben Holger.
Kyle Cooper also up into the top 5. He had some rotten luck yesterday. Got the truck back together. As hats off to our track crew. They've got Nick Visser's truck rolled over, back on the wheels, and out of the way. We didn't have to have a yellow flag whatsoever for that incident.
Tough break for last year's points champion as we go back up front. That's Ben Holger on the left side of your screen as Machosik in that 851 just carrying his speed. I had a chance to talk to him after the driver's meeting, and I said, man, is there anything you could have done? He's like, no, I just was trying every spot on the track. He's like, maybe I could have tried something a little different coming out of the final turn, but hey, where he needs to be right now as Bing trying to hunt him back down.
Yeah, Bing running in second. You talked about Joey Machosik on the podium yesterday after his second place finish. Joe straight out said, he said, I had nothing for Nick. He said, I thought I could throw that final corner pass on him, but Nick ran a perfect race.
Yeah, we talk about mistakes and try to limit your mistakes. Joey said Nick Bing, he didn't make any kind of mistake all day long in round one, so he is loving this fresh air up front, but Nick Bing starting to creep up to our race leader.
That Maxxis Lucas Oils Ford of Nick Bing trying to gain some ground on the Gary Bellman Trucking Ford of Machosik.
Oh, Nick Bing
went for the double-double into that rhythm section.
Boy, Bing thought he had a good run coming out of there, and he tried doubling in, like you said, Shane, and just bucked the back of that truck up.
Actually gained a lot of ground, though, on Machosik. We're going to have a race for the lead as they come down the AMSoil front straight. That gap definitely closing up between Machosik and Bing. Holcher, Pyburn, and Cooper round out your top five.
There's Nick Bing in that blazing orange and black Ford, trying to hunt down our race leader. Machosik coming in there very, very gently, just feathering that throttle, carrying his speed forward, heading back into one of the tricky sections here in Antigo.
Once again into Cooper Tires corner.
Yeah, look at Bing.
I'm curious to see if Bing is going to try to double into that Air Force rhythm section again. Landed really hard last time. He does kind of skip the top. He's going to gain again on Machosik.
Wow.
Look at that run by Bing.
Wow, he bonsai'd the tabletop that last time by again, and look at that. Made that pass stick. Now he finds himself out front, but here comes Machosik.
Machosik with a run down the inside of the AMSoil front straight as we've reached our halfway caution.
Wow, that was a tight end to the first half of the race. You're right, Shane.
Nick Bing is going to pick up those 2 bonus points for leading at halfway. Machosik will be second as you see Bing taking that spot back as they meet up with the pace truck. Ben Holcher, who is the third driver on the podium, running in third on the race course. Pyburn is fourth, and Cooper had to start quite a ways back in the 6th spot all the way up into the top 5 here.
Nick Bing using that rhythm section to his advantage. We don't see a lot of these super stop trucks jumping that hard into the first set, but hey, he has a great suspension underneath him. Why not? You try it. You're not sitting there and wanting to get second. You're going for that lead.
I'm watching as these trucks go by, Brent, how much fiberglass is hanging off all these trucks. You see Visser back underway, unfortunately a lap down. Man, Visser's having some lousy luck this weekend. Finished 12th yesterday. He's a lap down already today. And his title defense here in 2021 is not off to a great start.
No, it's tough break for Nick Visser, and that's just how competitive this class is. You make one mistake, you find yourself way in the back as Nick Bing trying to double down this weekend here in Antigo, Wisconsin. We're here at the Antigo Lions Roaring Raceway for rounds number 2. There's Ben Holger coming through our screen. Kyle Cooper, we like to talk about that kid. He's a very well put together race car driver and just not having a lot of luck in round number 1.
Yeah, finished 6th yesterday. Had a bunch of contact. Another truck that we saw that had some issues yesterday, the 820 Braden Boshaw. We talked to those guys last night. They were doing a lot of work on the front end of that truck. Boshaw was a little bit too aggressive on one lap through the Air Force rhythm section. Did a bunch of damage to the front of that truck, and him and his dad Scott kind of scratching their heads trying to get it all put back together late last night.
Yeah, they did. They've been working their butts off all weekend long. But hey, Brain's a young, well put together race car driver running sprint cars on the side too. So he'll be up there sooner or later as we're going to go back here to the green flag. It's Nick Bing, Joey Machosik, Ben Holger, your top 3. Keep an eye on Joey Machosik. He knows that Nick Bing made that bonsai move. He might have to do the same.
Right away in turn 1, Cooper goes down to the bottom side to try to get under Matt Pyburn in that 871. They're side by side down the backstretch.
Here's where it gets tricky here, Shane. You come down there about 60, 70 miles an hour, then you have to really get hard on the brakes.
Cooper going way to the inside, right up against that tractor tire that caused so many problems yesterday. And looks like Cooper able to take over that 4th spot.
Here comes Ben Holger running about a half a line off of our race leaders, trying to sneak his way up into the top 2. Look at this. Bing, he's squaring away that turn. It looked like Joey caught him right there, but Bing has been using that same rotation coming through and getting a good run. Look at the gap he opened on the rhythm section.
Yeah, Bing has really got this Cooper Tires corner figured out. You saw it there. He's able to not quite double on entry to the Air Force rhythm section, but kind of skip the top of the second one. And once you land there, then you've got the power down and you can accelerate all the way through that straightaway.
Yeah, he's definitely not scared to run that forward through that rhythm section. Look at Kyle Cooper.
Yeah, going to work on Ben Holger in turn one.
Kyle Cooper starting to reel in Ben Holger. Watch as they come back to the infield section, as it's very, very slippery. You talked to all the drivers in the pits last night and the night before.
Oh, we've got everybody slowed down here.
Something's gone down. Red flag
is
out.
It's going to be a red flag situation. Willie Freshour had an incident there in turn one, and it's an immediate red flag. So, waiting to hear back that Wildman Willie, another one of our good friends here in this class, Brent. We talked to him last night. Another guy that had a little bit of lousy luck. He started dead last today, but a great guy to have around the racetracks. You see our safety crews, for the fans here, can see our safety crews tending to Willie Freshour.
Yeah,
to look at Daryl Wold.
Yeah, Daryl Wold, that 811.
Yeah, he's already got some loose fiberglass on that 811 truck. There's our two leaders parked alongside one another.
Yeah, Joey.
See some hand signals there. friendly competition, we'll call it.
I'm coming for you. No, Joey Machosik doing a wonderful job. Nick Bing, that truck is just bad fast. Like I said, suspension's huge, and this class has come a long way in the past 5-6 seasons. They're running 3.0 King shocks on these wheels on each corner of this truck, and I'll tell you, they land pretty daggone good.
Not only that, but the quality of drivers in this class over the last couple of years has really elevated. I mean, going back 5-6 years ago, Nick Bing really started that. Everyone was chasing Bing for a while, and now you see Bing has his hands full with a whole bunch of different guys. And Nick Visser last year, absolutely dominant on his way to a championship. Far and away the most wins in the class. You see, he's having his problems this weekend. That's what makes this class so competitive.
Yeah, anyone can win at any given time. It looks like
all right,
Willie
we got
Freshour.
word from Race Control. Freshour is alert in that truck and doing all right. You can see a lot of damage there.
Yeah, we're going to take another look at this one, Shane, as Willie Freshour is going to come in your screen just all hot and heavy.
Yeah, way overcooked
dumps
there.
The truck over hard. Look at that.
Up and over the K-rail there.
And watch on the left side, just gets all crushed up. Coming in too hot and heavy. That turn is very, very sharp, and you just catch one of these famous Antigo berms and you go for a ride.
Yeah, we talk about the ruts that are developing down there in the Cooper Tires corner, that black dirt. It doesn't hold up quite as well as the clay does. It degrades over the course of a race. And unfortunately for Wildman Willie, he caught that rut and went up and over.
Yeah, that was a hard crash. Hopefully Willie is okay. Just always a smile on that guy's face. Just loves to be here, loves the sport to death. So
yeah, big man, big personality. Great guy to hang around.
Well, let's reset it for you once again, Shane. Nick Bing up front in that 833 HBI Maxxis Tires ride. Lucas Oil also on board of that machine. Then Joey Machosik showing a lot of speed. Ben Holger, another great truck. Kyle Cooper. We can keep going down the line. Time and time again, it's like, who's going to win this race? You just never know. You have to wait to the end.
Matt Piper in there in the top 5, too. He finished 4th yesterday. Still got the rookie tape. He ran with us a little bit last year at a couple events, but he's showing a lot of speed early on. And another guy that comes into short course off-road racing with a lot of dirt track experience. And it's on display there. Another guy that's shot there, Aaron Holiday. He's been racing a lot of dirt track around Wisconsin for the last few years. He's up there in the mix in the top 8 or so as they stand on the race course.
Yeah, it's always an advantage when you used to run or do run on this circle track. I mean, dirt cars are one thing, off-road trucks is another, but just coming through these turns, turn 1 and 2, coming out of our final turn, you're back on the oval, you're turning left, so they're used to that.
Yeah, we saw that earlier in stock truck too with Scott Belanger. another very accomplished, area dirt track driver from Luxembourg. Got a lot of seat time on clay ovals. See that experience translate over. We talked earlier about Braden Beauchamp. He's doing the same thing in a micro sprint car, so we're looking for him to move forward a little bit as well, although like we said, he's been battling some shock issues this weekend and had some front end damage after yesterday's race.
Yeah, Braden, he's a good kid. I can't say enough about him. He's really calm, cool, and collected. He just wants to do good. He puts the time and effort in. He also takes the time. He's very, very smart in the classroom. He's president of his class in Escanaba back at home. He knows what he's doing in the books and as well on the track. So there's a lot of learning curves for him. And I seen it about a year ago. I said, hey, man, I got a spare sprint car. You should get in there. Get used to going fast like now. And I said, when you step in one of these super stock trucks, you're going to just be like, man, it feels like I'm walking my dog. Because, if you drive something quicker than what you're going to be in, you're not going to be scared. You're going to push the limits. You're going to drive to the edge but not go over it. And he's done a phenomenal job. So watch for that young boy to keep moving up through the field.
Yeah, I had to laugh at Braden. A couple of weeks ago, he posted on his racing fan page on Facebook. He said, sorry for the radio silence. I haven't been posting a lot, but this last weekend, my team from the high school and I, we were driving our electric car that we built at Road America. I'm like, you're apologizing because you're off doing this other remarkable thing.
No, it's so cool to see what he's done. And here we go. White flag lap out this time by. It's going to be the white checkered coming out.
A one-lap sprint to the finish, just like yesterday. We'll see if Machosic can put that move as we see Cooper go down to the inside of Holcher.
Boy, Kyle Cooper's seen an opening. He puts it on the bottom of Holcher. Watch Joey Machosic. He's trying to square away this turn. But
yeah, that opens the door for Holcher. Holcher stacks in and goes around. That's going to let Cooper up into second. Cooper's got a shot at this one, Brent.
Yeah, Kyle Cooper, he's not done yet. There's Nick Bing out front. Kyle Cooper in second. Joey Machosic in third. But look at Braden Beauchamp now running the top four.
Yeah, Beauchamp all the way up into fourth. Pyburn still there in the top five as well. One last time through the Air Force rhythm section.
Wow, look at Cooper getting all crossed up. That's going to cost him a spot.
Yeah, Cooper had to check up. That's going to leave Bing all alone as they go into the Falcon final turn.
Machosic all over the back door. Here we go, Shane. It's going to be Nick Bing with the win here in round two. But taking second, Kyle Cooper. Taking third will be Joey Machosic.
Braden Beauchamp comes from the back to finish fourth. Pyburn is fifth. Joey Knight up there in sixth. That's a good run for him. Holiday seventh. Visser finishes a lap down. That should put Summers in eighth. Jorgensen ninth. And TJ Struck rounds out the top 10.
Wow, Nick Bing sweeping the weekend here in rounds 1 and 2 of the 2021 season. And man, they are 2 by 2 going to come to this green flag for round number 2. Watch as they'll start right by those orange cones. They take off. Here we go, Sportsman side by side.
Jason Barrero, that number 24, starts on the pole alongside DeGrand. They'll lead the field down into turn 1.
Yeah, DeGrand already trying to go on that outside. Had to get out of the throttle a little bit, and that cost him a spot on exit.
Good, clean start for a big field of Sportsman side-by-sides presented by Power Sports 1. Barrero doing a great job playing defense down there into that hard left-hander as you see the 99 of Griesbach and the 57 of Jones got tangled for a moment there. Jared Jaden up there in the top 4. It's like Berger, or check that, Liebergen, the number 36, now up into second place. Here comes Jorgensen splitting the field into Cooper Tire's corner.
Yeah, look at
Jorgensen.
Jorgensen.
Long way around.
Yeah, maybe, just had enough room to sneak underneath that tractor tire. Here comes Jorgensen in that 11, in that Artie cab. But look at this. Christensen, it looks like Christensen in that, no, that's 57.
That's Cody Jones, who's on the podium yesterday. He was up on the bike. Jorgensen had to dodge him there. One lap in the books. Liebergen has the race lead over Barrero now, so Liebergen out front. Barrero, Jaden, Tilkins all the way up from 10th to 4th in one lap, Brent.
Wow, that is an amazing feat in itself in this tough layout here in Antigo, Wisconsin. A lot of cars, a lot of different lines coming through 1 and 2.
There's a look at Barrero running in second behind Liebergen. Tilkins sticks the nose in there on Jaden, and now Tilkins into the top 3.
Yeah, Tilkins trying to move up in the top 2. Now his eyes are set after having a good round number 1.
Yeah, checked out on the field, took that round one win as a rookie here at Sportsman side-by-side. Barrero going way wide in that number 24 Yamaha. Able to hold that spot, though.
Barrero must have been listening to Nick Bing, trying to get a wider turn out of it to try to double in, but there he goes. He loses a spot. That is the 96 car.
Tilkens, yesterday's winner, moving his way up. Started in 10th. They inverted 10th for this one, and he's all the way up into second place, trying to hunt down Derek Liebergen.
Tilkens is the man on the move here early on in the Sportsman side-by-side race here in round number 2. Burrow still trying to keep up to the main pack here. Track looking very, very nice here, Shane. The track crew has done a wonderful job all weekend long. We threw a lot of water on it each and every night.
Yeah, you see a little bit of dust starting to come in here, but you'll have that when there's 25 or more Sportsman side-by-sides on the track at once. For the most part, that moisture really stayed in the track. We've said a couple times, both Friday night and last night, track crews were here into the wee hours putting water down into this track, trying to keep this dust down.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially coming through this infield section. Remember, we showed up before the weekend started, it was all grass. Now it's finally starting to till up, and it's really, really tough to get through there. You really can't set up for a tire combination coming out of that infield. Looks like Cody Jones now sneaking his way underneath.
Yeah, Liebergen still leading over Tilkens as Tilkens dives down into turn 1. Big pack of dogs there behind Barrero on that number 24. He started on the pole, but he's got some heavy hitters there behind him with Jones, Jaden, Kearns, and the 46 of Growth holding his own there in the mix as well in front of Jorgensen.
Oh, look at this. We got a battle for the lead. Tilkens trying to shove our race leader out of the way. Here we go.
Liebergen and Tilkens side by side into Cooper Tire's corner.
Liebergen just needs to really calm down, just hit his marks. He puts it up on the bike a little bit, sets it back down. It's so tricky through here. We say it time and time again, 2 different lines going through that rhythm section.
Yeah, and Tilkens the last time through this rhythm section found a lot of speed. Looks like not able to gain anything on Liebergen that time.
Liebergen doing a fine job out front, clean air, just running his race, holding on about a 5-6 car length gap. But a lot of racing left to go in this one, 4.5 minutes as we come to that mandatory competition caution flag, the halfway point in this one.
We'll reset the running order for you. Liebergen is your leader at halfway, so he'll pick up the 2 bonus points. Tilkens was yesterday's winner. He's currently in second. That'll earn him 1 bonus point. Cody Jones is third. Colin Kearns is fourth. Griesbach, then it's Jaden, Barrero, Roth, and all the rest on back. Jorgensen still trying to pick his way through some traffic in the early going here.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic, especially when you have 20-plus cars in these fields. There's Liebergen, Tilkens. It's going to be a battle right to the end. As our pace car is bringing them around, we will be coming to the green flag this next time by. And as you can see at the top of your screen, time is definitely starting to run down in our first side-by-side race of the day here. A lot more racing yet to come, though, Shane.
Yeah, and in this Sportsman side-by-side field, yesterday, Tilkens put the whole field on notice. He's here to play and he's here to win. As a rookie, his only second time out in the car, he raced a side-by-side sports series event a couple weeks ago in Lena at Dirt City. And by now, Liebergen knows that he's there because Tilkens has been alongside him. So let's see if Tilkens can ratchet up that pressure on Liebergen and force a mistake, those mistakes that we've been talking about all weekend.
Yeah, side-by-side sports is a great place to race as well. You get a lot of seat time. Johnny Greaves and the guys have done a wonderful job keeping these guys together. And, man, anytime you can get on another track, go do it, because when you come to Champ Off-Road, you better be on your A game and ready to win, because at any given time, I don't care if it's an Arctic Cat, a Polaris, or a Yamaha, these things are all so bad fast. As we're getting ready, Shane, to restart this race and talk about it, we have 2 orange cones in front of the crowd.
Yeah, so Liebergen right now is in control of the field. He can restart the race at any point he chooses between those 2 cones. We'll see how he plays it, and he takes off right away. We've seen that most of this weekend so far. Back to green flag racing. Liebergen, Tilkens, and Jones, your top three.
Yeah, Jones fell back a little bit on that restart and about 4 or 5 car lengths in the third spot. As Liebergen still out in front on this restart, as here comes Tilkens. Tilkens really driving it in deep.
Meanwhile, Kearns all over the back bumper of Cody Jones. They make contact. A lot of different line choices through the infield section as they come into Cooper Tire's corner. And Tilkens noses ahead of Liebergen. He's your new race leader.
Yeah, there goes Tilkens. Round 1 winner, trying to take off where he left off in round 1. And here we go. Going through this tricky rhythm section. Look at them, they're all trying to double in.
Oh, big trouble there. I believe that's the 99 of Griesbach, able to gather it back up, but he's going to lose a ton of spots. It looked like something was broken on that right rear suspension, Brent.
Nice save, though. That's really hard to negotiate, and he just landed it and put it back down on all tires, and we got another pass.
Yeah, we're going to go full course yellow here, Brent. I'm being told there's a big pile up in the Air Force rhythm section. Going to be full course yellow. There you see one of those cars involved. That's the 21 of Caden Piontek.
Yeah, Piontek's day is done. Now we're looking up towards the front of the field.
Rahanowitz involved as well. She's stuck on her side right now in that rhythm section.
Yesterday she was up on the side, up against the guardrail in turns 1 and 2. So tough weekend for Paige Rahanowitz.
Yeah, she's one of those drivers that we've talked about coming out of the kart classes. So you're seeing, as these drivers develop and then age out of those youth classes, they are coming into these full side classes. 46, he was running up near the front. That's Justin Groth from West Bend. Tough break for him as well.
Yeah, the front end is really, really damaged. Car is sitting almost on the skid plates. You see Paige Rahanowitz now, her car is flipped back over in that Edwards Collision Chevrolet.
So we're slowed back down. I'm looking at our time clock there, Brent. We're going to run out of time here, so we should be seeing either a green-white checker or just a white to checker finish, a one-lap shootout, just like we saw one race ago in Super Stock Truck. We'll wait for the official ruling from Race Control to reset the field, though. Tilkens out front, Jones up into second, Liebergen third, Colin Kearns in fourth. He's on the charge, but he's got a flat left rear. Jake Jorgensen up into the top 5. Then it's Barrero who started on the pole. Behind him, it's the number 8 of Jacob Blemke. He started all the way back in 23rd. Then it's the 73 of Tricky Nicky Fisher.
I'm pretty sure
a lot of shuffling going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of guys and gals that started in the back have made their way forward too, kind of dodging some of this carnage and mayhem. Season Bennett, the number 22, also there in the top 10 along with Bryce Carlson.
Our pace car is going to bring them around hopefully one final time. And if you look where our time was up on our running order, it says 1 lap to go. So
there's your official ruling from Race Control. We're going to do a combination green flag, white flag. So 1 lap will remain here in the Power Sports 1 Sportsman side-by-side race in round 2 as we're getting our field set in the correct order. You'll see a couple of the drivers pull out a line there and take their proper spot. You see Dustin DeGrand, that number 16 Yamaha, already pulled out a line. No doubt who our race leader is, though. Same guy that won yesterday, Derek Tilkens from Green Bay.
Yeah, Tilkens has really been fast all weekend long. He finds himself out in front here late in the race, and he just needs to run his race. He's out front for a reason. The car's hooked up. The driver's got his head on straight, and I don't know. It's going to be tough to pass him, but there's a lot of good company up there as we see.
Yeah, there you can see the flat tire on that left rear of the 4th place car, Colin Kearns. So things might get interesting. It's going to be really hard for him to keep pace with these front 3, but how much is he going to hold up Jorgensen sitting there in 5th?
Right, yeah, he's not going to get the hookup off that restart right away, so he might be better off just to pull out a line a little bit. Otherwise, he might cause another
Jorgensen's looking at that tire right now. You saw Jorgensen pulled over, eyeing it up, going, all right. As soon as we get to a left-hand corner, fortunately enough for him, that's turn 1. He says, I'm going to make my move on that.
Yeah, you can see that tire is right down to nothing, just running in a good position, though, here this afternoon. Just tough break for him. And like I said, it's not easy to run on 3 wheels on one of these cars. like we're coming to a stop.
Still taking some time here to clear the race course and adjust our order. Like we said, 26 cars started this race, and when you have to make those official rulings on who actually was in which position when the caution came out, it takes a little bit of time to sort that out.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes by the last official lap, so our staff is doing what they need to do, get everyone in the right position here for that green and white at the same time coming out this next time by. It's no holds bar here in this second half. These guys are trying to go for the win, but right now Tilkins is just showing the way around.
Well, with only one lap to go though, Brent, and with the, at this point you have to go for broke, so I'm curious to see how Jones is going to play this sitting there in second place.
Right, I mean, if you're in second, you got to go now, and I mean, you can't just hold back. There's not much time left in this one. You really just maybe have to do what Nick Bing did. Try that bonsai move through the rhythm section. Hey, it worked for him.
And on the restart after that competition yellow with Liebergen in front, he started. You see Liebergen took that place back. So we're going to have Liebergen leading the field here, Tilkins, and then Jones. Liebergen on the restart after the competition yellow started right at that first cone, just like just about everyone has all weekend. Be interesting to see if he wants to play a mind game here and maybe go against the grain, start somewhere else in that restart zone.
Yeah, so Tilkins now has to go back to work and try to take over that spot. And like we said, there's not much time left. Going to be that green and white at the same time, and we're going to have a one-lap shootout here in Antigo, Wisconsin. You're watching the AMSOIL Championship off-road races here, and we haven't been here in a long, long time, Shane. When we were kids, we used to stand against the fence and watch some of our favorite guys and gals run in this series. It's so cool to be back. Our next stop's going to be at the Big House in Crandon, Wisconsin. And speaking of Crandon, we talk about Crandon, how the fall run in that has the biggest car counts. This weekend, we have some of the biggest car counts we've ever seen in short course.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, I made the declaration that off-road racing here in the Midwest, we're back. This is, once again, the major leagues of short course off-road racing in the entire country. And you're seeing it on display here all weekend, all the way, like we've said, from short course karts on up to Pro 4. I mean, full fields, not only a lot of cars, but quality drivers from top to bottom.
Yeah, a lot of great cars, a lot of great competition, East Coast, West Coast. It's going to be a shootout in every class. Here we go.
Yeah, Liebergen just waited just for a moment there, so a little mind game from Liebergen in the lead.
Yeah, Tilkins, he didn't waste any time. Here comes Tilkins, though.
Tilkins looked down to the inside, not enough room there. Jones still on the back bumper of Tilkins as they come onto our backstretch.
Wow, Jones really showing a lot of speed in that 57. Look at him driving hard down on that inside. He knows this is it. A
little
couple
tire
more
tap
turns to
there
go.
on Tilkins. And Kearns still digging there with that flat left rear, holding strong there in fourth.
Man, that is hard.
Kearns is going to have a really hard time here on this right-hand turn with that flat left rear, though.
Yeah, all the weight's going to be pushed onto that outside. Man, look at that little run we had coming into the rhythm section.
Tilkins was so far inside in Cooper Tire's corner, he was almost in the grass. Now he's trying to get a run outside, maybe set up a move in the final corner.
Yeah, watch here. He's going to try to go outside, inside. He's going to get a run on exit. Here we go. We're going to be side by side here in Sportsman side by side. Who's going to win? Who's going to take the W?
Tilkins takes the win. Side by side with Liebergen. Cody Jones right there in third. Colin Kearns holds on for fourth.
Wow, what a
Blemke, Jorgensen, Barrero, Fisher, Carlson also up there in the mix. 11, the number 14. It is her birthday today, so happy birthday, Ashley Bone. Grace Burrows is out there at the number 1. Then we have Wyatt Olson, Livy Henches, Jaden Dickman, Jack Betts, Kate Zimdars, Ellie Henches, Ashton Dreyer, Mason Schultz, Olivia Lawson, Abigail Bone, Harper Prost, CJ Kruger, Chevy Kruger, and Grant Dressel, who was yesterday's Race Quip Hard Luck Award winner, Tough Luck Award winner, courtesy of Race Quip. He was running in second early on, found himself dead last here on the grid today.
Oh, bummer for him on the start, but hey, maybe he can turn things around here in round number 2. We're about to go green flag racing.
Yeah, on the front row, we've got Madison Winnestorfer and Lila DeLory driving the 199 there.
Here we go, Shane. Pace car is pulled off. We're going to go green flag racing this time by, again, 8 minutes plus a lap for these Razor 170s. Very, very competitive field here. You see they worked with the jumps a little bit over the night because these cars are really hitting hard and they're busting up a lot of equipment.
Off and running down into turn 1. Winnestorfer got a great jump, and so did Cody Krantz. Krantz started in the 3rd row, and he's already up into 2nd place.
Yeah, Krantz with a good early run here. Look at the track. They really do a nice job here in Antigo, Wisconsin, prepping this track. As you see our leaders coming in to our screen once again on that back section. Very, very tight left-hander here coming up. Not a lot of horsepower, Shane. It's pretty much one of the beginner classes in Champ Off-Road, and there's a lot to learn, but hey, these kids later on are going to be very, very tough to beat.
Brett, we do have a car tipped over on its side in turn 2, just on the exit there as we go to the backstretch, waiting to see if we'll see that yellow flag come out. I want to say that's one of the Bone cars. I hope it's not the birthday girl Ashley Bone that flipped over there.
Yeah, they'll try to get her back on her wheels. There's enough time here with these cars. They don't go as fast as our other classes, so
back up front though. Sorry, Brent, up front. Denninger worked his way to the front. He was your winner yesterday. Krantz is in 2nd. Winnestorfer, I believe, still holding strong there in 3rd. And one of the Holcher cars side by side with Lila DeLory. That's the battle for 4th as they head into the Falcon final turn.
Denninger with a nice run already in that number 11 race-driven machine, just trying to check out on the field early on. You see up on top of our screen 6 minutes ago in this one, we just started this 170 division here in round number 2. Swapping back and forth, one of the HBI cars.
That's Finley Holcher, started 6th, working on Lila DeLory in that 199. Looks like they may go side by side. Finley Holcher on the outside of Lila DeLory. Yeah, DeLory moving Holcher up the racetrack a little bit there. Doesn't want to give up that spot as they head down the backstretch.
Here we go, side by side coming through our camera here. A long, long straightaway for these cars, Shane.
Yeah, wound right to the top of their RPMs. Like we said, they're only 170cc Polaris motors in there. But you'll see these drivers really lay it all out. Perfect line there by DeLory to seal off Finley Holcher and reclaim that spot in its entirety as they go through the infield section there. So it's Denninger, Krantz, Winnestorfer. She started on the front row, running all alone in 3rd, and DeLory in 4th. Madison Winnestorfer and Lila DeLory, pretty good friends off the racetrack, but currently running 3rd and 4th on the track here.
Denninger doing a fine job. Krantz coming through our screen in that 22. Getting very, very tight there on the exit. We even had a set of headlights on one of those cars.
Yeah, that's DeLory. These are, the spirit of this class is that these are showroom stock other than the safety equipment. You see Denninger having some issues coming back onto the oval.
Yeah, luckily he has a big enough gap there. It didn't cost him that much on the track, but yeah.
It's very slick out there though, Brent. I'm looking at that Falcon final corner. All kinds of cars having issues. We'll reset the race order. Denninger, then Winnestorfer has gotten back around Krantz up into 2nd. Krantz is 3rd. Finley Holcher 4th. Then the battle of the women there for 5th between Ella Holcher, your defending champion, trying to put that move on Lila DeLory, and they're side by side in turn 1.
Yeah, Ella Holcher trying to go the long way around DeLory. We'll see if she can make this pass stick. The cars look pretty equal on exit. We'll see. Here comes Ella Holcher in that red plate number 40, last year's points champion here in the 170 division.
Lying alongside Ella Holcher, trying to make that pass stick on Lila DeLory. DeLory will still have some room on the inside as they enter that left-hand hairpin down into the infield.
Boy, Delilah just drives into that turn.
Oh, she went up on the bike. Great save by DeLory. Meanwhile, Holcher had some issues. That's Finley Holcher, the 844. That's going to let Lila DeLory move up a spot. So now it's Denninger, Winnestorfer, Krantz, Delory, and then Ella Holcher. That's your top 5 as we look at Krantz going to work now on Winnestorfer.
Yeah, look at Krantz going really, really wide, coming through that infield section, trying to get that run, trying to build a bunch of speed up.
Yeah, not the ideal line. Like we said earlier about the short course karts, there's not horsepower on demand here. You have to run the correct line. Looks like he's going alongside with Winnestorfer now. What do you see in there, Brent?
No, it looks like Krantz might have some left front damage on that wheel. I don't know, maybe hit one of the jumps a little too hard. It looks like he has a little bit of camber issue going on in the front of that machine. We'll have to babysit it. You see right there. I don't know, maybe it's just suspension there on a couple turns. It looked like maybe something was bent, but now that I see a couple of different cars look like that.
Yeah, some of these cars do have some pretty drastic camber on those front suspension. You know, like I said, they're showroom stock, the equipment is, but they are set up a little bit for racing. There is some adjustment that you can do on the suspension of these cars, so you'll see a variety of setup choices. But if you're a parent who wants to get your child into racing, this is a great place to start, very affordable. We're looking again with our race leader, Raymond Denninger, right behind him. That was Ashley Bone on her birthday that rolled over in turn 2.
Tough break. Yeah. Denninger doing a fine job out front in that race-driven machine. Coming through, there's Bone.
That's Abigail Bone in the 13.
Yeah, she's
about to go a lap down there.
Yeah, tough break
that whole
for
Bone
her.
family from Waldo, Wisconsin. They've been working on a new trailhead, the Warhead multi-use trail system for side-by-side use. Just opened that up a few weeks ago as we look back out front with Denninger in that number 11 race-driven ride. In control of this one just as he was yesterday.
Yeah, Denninger just staying out front, Shane.
You can see just how hard these landings are for these 170s though. Like we said, stock components, so really not a lot of suspension on these cars. This Champ Off-Road Series, we push them to the limits here, and the drivers take a big part in that too because these kids are flat out all the time.
Yeah, they are. They're hard on the gas. You ask a lot of these guys, the gals, and how do they like the track? Where's your favorite part? And they always say the straightaways. They're like, oh, we can just flat foot these cars as Denninger, and that's what he's doing right now in that number 11, just trying to run away and hide here with about a minute to go. So this next time by, we should be seeing our white flag coming out.
Yeah, it's a long way back to Cody Krantz in second. Madison Winnestorfer from De Pere still running in third. That's a good run for Madison Winnestorfer. Started racing with us last season. She's come a long way as a driver. Started on the pole today.
Denninger still out in the lead. Like you said, these are right off the showroom floor other than some safety devices put in these cars, and that's what makes it so cool. I mean, you got a son, daughter out there that wants to get into racing, the perfect stepping stone here in the AMSOIL Champ Off-Road Series. And I'll tell you, these cars go really, really quick for how little they are.
Yeah, the quickest one on this course, though, as it has been since the beginning of round 1, Denninger, as we're riding along now with Madison Winnestorfer running there in third place. She's just run a good, clean race, kind of ran her own pace here. Obviously a quick enough pace to stay up near the front. Doing a great job. Not really losing any ground to Krantz in second.
See a glimpse of Denninger on our screen.
Finley
Still
Holcher.
trying to put it. Yeah,
just
look
for
at
an update
Holcher.
on the race order, Finley Holcher is in fourth, Ella Holcher fifth. Then we have the 26 running in sixth. That's Jaden Dickman with Delory running in seventh. White flag is out at our AMSOIL finish line.
Yeah, one more lap to go around this beautiful facility here in Antigo, Wisconsin, and Denninger's doing what he needs to do to stay out front in that number 11 race-driven ride, and just being really, really smooth is such a key factor here at a short track because there's so many opportunities to make mistakes, and he's doing a fine job running out front here in that number 11.
Yeah, and he had to start all the way back in 8th, so a good job of managing traffic as well. Like you said, limiting those mistakes. We haven't seen a single mistake out of Denninger.
No, he's got that turn dialed in, coming back into the infield, just sweeping it through, carrying his speed, and he's just kept that gap all race long. He's just feeling really, really good in that number 11.
One last time into Cooper Tire's corner. You see Denninger giving those lap cars a lot of room there. Really smart driving for a driver at such a young age to, have the sense to, all right, I'm going to steer clear. I know I'm way out front. My spotters told me I've got lots of room here. I'll take my time, pick the right spot to make that pass.
Yeah, you don't want to throw it away here. You just got to make those passes stick. And when you start in the middle of the pack, it's not an easy feat. But right now, Denninger is going to put it together here, running that outside lane. Got a little slower traffic on the inside, but it looks like he's going to clear it. Denninger's going to take the win here this afternoon. That race driven ride number 11. What a great race he put together here this afternoon in round number 2, Shane.
Yeah, just about a flag-to-flag win. Took that lead early. As you see Krantz coming across the line in second. And our top 3 just checked out on the rest of this field. Madison Winnestor for her first podium finish in the 170 side-by-side. She'll be in third. Then it looks like fourth, that 26 car. All the way from 15th, Jaden Dickman finishes in fourth. Finley Holcher fifth. Ella Holcher sixth. Grant Dressel up to seventh. Lila Delory eighth. Harper Hughes ninth. And side-by-side battle at the line for 10th. Good racing top to bottom there for our race-driven 170 side-by-side.
Here we go, Shane. The green flag's about to start this thing off here. Here we go. Andy Johnson not wasting any time in that race-driven machine.
Good jump there by Andy Johnson. Ella Holcher falls in line along with Connor Lacasse there. Everyone playing nice as they go through the first corner and down that backstretch. I see Braun already after starting 8th. He's down to the inside of Ella Holcher, and Braun all the way up to 2nd already.
Wow, unbelievable already. A lot of great passing going on in this new 570 division. Andy Johnson still out in front going into the infield section.
Heiting started in 6th. He's already up into the top 3 also, as he has gotten around Ella Holcher.
Yeah, Ben Heiting had a good run yesterday, finished up on the podium. Another race-driven machine here in the field. Wow, look at those cars just bonsaiing off.
Yeah, Braun has taken over the lead, by the way. Gotten around that 13 of Johnson. You saw him just bouncing through the Air Force rhythm section.
Yeah, now Johnson, he wants that spot back, trying to run on that inside, but cannot make that pass stick, as looks like the back end of that car just hopping back a little quick, so maybe some rebound needed in those shocks in the rear of this car of Johnson, as we watch as Johnson really, really quick, though, on the straightaways.
Yeah, and again, we talk about just like the 170s, this is the spirit of this class, is that it's a showroom stock class. You just add your safety gear, you add your cage, and then obviously all the driver safety equipment like window nets and the fuel cell, and you're off and racing. So what you're seeing here, you could go buy, add that safety equipment, and put your child into a race car, a full-fledged race car.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about this division. We talk about it being a stepping stone, but it's pretty simple to get into. I mean, we have a lot of side-by-sides out here in the Amsoil Champ Off-Road, but I tell you, it's just cool. They're trying to make it better, trying to make these drivers very experienced by the time they get up in our pro classes.
Johnson giving Braun all kinds of pressure, at least for a moment there. It looks like Johnson's quite a bit faster on these corner entries, so maybe a little bit more aggressively driving right now than Braun is.
See, they're pretty shook out, about 5, 6, maybe even 7 car lengths from first to second right now. Braun is doing a fine job, as Johnson now trying to wing it through that first turn. There's Ben Heiting already in the top 3.
Yeah, Heiting in that race-driven machine coming on strong after starting in 6th. Braun trying to make it 2 wins in a row to start off the season. These are the first rounds for this 570 class.
Yeah, Andy Johnson now trying to just go to work, put his head down, try to reel in our race leader, Braun. Look at Andy Johnson running a different line, but right here. It gets really, really tight on exit as they're flying into this rhythm section, and watch how these cars react.
Yeah, and this is another place that I saw last lap especially. Johnson gained a little bit of ground on Braun, and then again on these tight corner entries, it seems like Johnson able to come in a little bit hotter and hold that line, and again makes up a ton of ground. Got a little bit washed out there on the dry slick, but basically cut that gap between Braun and Johnson in half there.
Yeah, he made a good move, came through that section and really looked like he capitalized on it, but look at that gap already again, 7-8 car lengths coming through the backstretch here in Antigo, Wisconsin. Johnson still trying to put the hammer down and reel in our race leader.
Yeah, he's got another good run here as they head toward that left-hand hairpin off of the oval. Both drivers pretty much the same line that time. There's a nice groove worn in there, and they're right on the outside of that groove. They head down through the infield towards Cooper Tires corner.
About 3.5 minutes to go in this 570 side-by-side race, and Johnson now he's starting to button up on the back once again. We'll see. This is his section here after the rhythm section. He loves to go a little bit wider and carry his speed through this turn, so keep an eye on Andy Johnson here this time by. See how he goes a little wider there, Shane, and then he just carries his speed all the way out through here, and look at the run he gets.
Yeah, able to do a really nice job of making that car stick down to the inside after that wide entry that you were talking about. Again, close that gap up. He's staying close enough right now to keep Braun honest. And again, limit mistakes. That's the name of the game here on a technical track here at Antigo Lions Roaring Raceway. If Johnson can just force that one mistake from Braun, this will be a two-car battle for this race lead.
Yeah, he really needs to start putting the pressure on. He loses him on this back straightaway, and then in the corners, it seems like Johnson carrying his speed a little bit better through here. His father, Casey Johnson, really putting in a lot of homework, a lot of work in the last 3-4 years, helping his boys move up in each class. Very, very young but talented. And Casey used to run Pro Buggy back in the day for multiple seasons. He was a good runner. He loved the sport to death. He still does. And cool to see him working with his kids as Troy puts it up on the bicycle. Andy, actually, speaking about the Johnsons, Troy and Andy Johnson.
I watched him the last couple times through that Cooper Tires turn. He's running it right on that razor's edge of going up on the bicycle, and that time just barely overcooked it. And again, closes that gap back up. Almost close enough that by now, I mean, Braun has to know that Johnson is gaining at these couple different spots on this racetrack. Then you see the top end speed. It seems like maybe a little bit longer legs on that number 7 car, just able to stretch it back out all the way around the oval.
Right. It looks like Andy, he loses him a little bit there, but then he loves coming back into the infield section. He'll have to try to button up on the rear if he wants a shot at this thing, because time is definitely starting to run out here, Shane.
Yeah, inside of 90 seconds to go here before we see our white flag.
Look at
Johnson way down to the inside. Braun around the outside. Johnson is going to take over the race lead. There was that mistake that Johnson was waiting for out of Braun.
Yeah, Johnson being very, very patient. Now he just needs to put his head down, run his own race. He has nice lines coming through this infield section. Now he opens the door once again. They're going to be side by side coming into the rhythm section. Now Andy right here, this is what he loves to do. He comes out of this final turn here, and he tries to go a little bit wider, but now it looks like our leader is going to pull off.
Oh, trouble for Braun. He stole the lead back from Johnson. He has pulled off and parked. Kind of landed awkwardly there, a little bit cross-eyed as he came through that Air Force rhythm section. Was able to gather it back up, but looks like his day is done, and that means Andy Johnson is all alone out front. Ethan Dressel running in second now. He was second place yesterday.
There's
and then
Johnson.
hiding again in the top 3 as he was yesterday. Fourth place, Carter Nordrum. He came out of the short course karts last year to join the 570 field this year.
Oh, we got one upside
Dressel.
down.
We just said Dressel had inherited second place, and now he's on his lid over there in turn 1.
Now we go back out front. That's Andy Johnson in that race-driven ride, number 13. Trying to work his way. A couple laps to go here in this one. As he comes back into the infield section one more time. We're going to take another look at this one. Oh, just got all crossed up.
Hit one of those little holes, had to try to counter steer to straighten it back out. Caught an edge and up and over he goes, and looks like we are going to go to a red flag condition here as they're going to roll back over that number 8 Polaris of Ethan Dressel. He's out of Sturgeon Lake, Minnesota. Everyone parked for now under this red flag condition, and we should point out that when this red flag is out, that does stop the clock. We're inside of 2 laps to go now, but that does stop the race clock when we see a red flag. Obviously, safety is the #1 paramount concern here in AMSOIL Championship Off-Road, so we're going to make sure that both the drivers, Dressel, that he's safe, and also Chase Braun, make sure he's all right.
Yeah,
pulled off pretty suddenly there, so.
Yeah, we always want to make sure everyone's okay. You see the track crew doing a fine job, and they're checking on another driver here.
Yeah, that's Braun. He pulled over in a hurry after getting crossed up in that rhythm section. You see Dressel, he's going to go back underway here.
Maybe Braun knocked the wind out of himself going into that section, because these cars, they don't have a lot of suspension, so if you try to bonsai those rhythm sections, you might end up casing one of those jumps, as we'll have to wait and see. But right now, there's our race leader, number 13 of Andy Johnson. Good run for him. He's been just being patient all day long, just trying to work his magic, and he's got a couple corners dialed in. That final turn is pretty quick for him, so he just needs to stick to what he's doing, but this is going to be a whole nother restart.
Yeah, Johnson, a Bark River kid. I know, Brent, you're excited to go back to Bark River International Raceway later this summer for rounds 9 and 10 of AMSOIL Championship Off-Road. We didn't get to go there last year, unfortunately, and man, we sorely missed being at Bark River. I was so excited at the start of the season to go to your hometown track, Bark River. Obviously, we raced at Crandon twice last year, my hometown track. You got to be just aching to get back to Bark River.
Yeah, Bark River is one of my favorite tracks. Grew up there my whole life. I can't wait to go back this season, but we're going to step away here for a few moments. We're going to come back to the Antigo Lions Roaring Raceway right after this.
The new Falken Wild Peak AT3W all-terrain tire is engineered with one of the deepest tread depths on the market for long-lasting wear and uncompromising performance. For the ultimate tread life and traction, get the Falken Wild Peak AT3W.
All right, well, welcome back to Antigo, Wisconsin. Here in round number 2, we had to go to a red flag condition on this 570 division, but it looks like the cars are back rolling. And we're going to get this thing started one final time here. The time has definitely ran out here. There's Dressel in that number 8 after he went over. He's back in the field. Looks to be okay. There's Andy Johnson. Ben Heiting in the number 19 having another solid run here this afternoon.
Yeah, Dressel's back in line behind Johnson there in second after that rollover, so we must have gone back to our previous lap finishing order. We're back to green flag racing here. White flag is out. 1 lap to go for the race-driven 570 side-by-sides.
Yep, this is it, Shane. 1 more lap to go. We're over the top of Ben Heiting in that race-driven ride. Gonna go way to the outside, trying to get a run on our second-place competitor here.
Meanwhile, Johnson, right from the drop of that green flag, just checked out on the rest of this field.
Yeah,
there you see
Dressel.
Heiding looking to the outside. Dressel moves over to maybe take that line away.
Oh, Heiding got a little squirrely coming in. He over-rotated. It might cost him a little bit, but just a fine job correcting that car. Here comes Dressel once again.
Ella Holcher there, that number 40, into the picture as well. She's in fourth, trying to work her way onto the podium. Into Cooper Tire's turn.
Here comes Ben Heiding one more time, that race-driven ride. He's going to get to that inside. They're going to be side by side coming through this rhythm section. We'll see if Ben can get it done here. This is the final lap. Nowhere to be found is Andy Johnson.
Dressel just had a better run there. As you can see down in the corner, you're looking at our leader out of the Falcon Tires final turn. That's Andy Johnson on his way to the checkered flag and the win here in round 2. And at the line, the battle for second will go to Dressel. Heiding is third and Ella Holcher fourth. And Carter Nordrum rounds out the top 5 after we had a couple drivers drop out. Alec Hoffman, Logan Christensen, Chase Cleast, Kyle Kuster, Tyler Rimmeride, and Kyle Vaden. 17 cars deep in the field for Pro Am side-by-side.
Well, here we go, Shane. Pro Am side-by-side is about to get going. A little bit of water they laid down. Keep that dust down here in the beginning parts of this race.
Good jump there by the 95 of Rimmeride. He comes all the way from Bennington, Nebraska to race with us here at AMSOIL Championship Off-Road. He will lead the field into turn 1 for the first time. You see Parsons there on the inside, that number 19. Good early run for him after some bad luck yesterday.
Yeah, Parsons not having the day he wanted in round 1 as they're coming back towards this infield section. Look at how slippery it is down there. Going really, really wide, opening up the door once again. They're side by side heading the tabletop.
Rimmeride, and that's Bayer, that number 21 Yamaha alongside. He's got the inside into Cooper Tire's turn. And there comes the number 2 of Tyson Marquardt as well. He was third in yesterday's round 1 race.
Yeah, Tyson had a good run yesterday afternoon. Now look at how tight this is getting through here, going in the rhythm section, flying out those jumps. They yet can double into that section, but maybe as the track dries out, Shane, get a little bit bigger of a run as they head back on the oval.
Back down the AMSOIL front straightaway, Josh Bayer, Dylan Parsons, and Dylan Marquardt now in the top 3. Tyson Marquardt is 4th.
Look at Dylan Marquardt. He goes sideways, pitching it like a Pro 4. He's kept it going straight.
Both Marquardt cars, as we had another one parked down near the infield there. And you see we've got one car upside down. That's in the Air Force rhythm section.
Yeah, those cars get all upside back and forth, tank swapping those machines. It's really, really tough to go through there. And flat-footed, you got to be really conservative as we go back up front here.
That's Parsons, that number 19. Yeah. He's gotten into the lead now. Parsons, Marquardt, Letourneau, Berger, and Kosmecki are now your top 5. And there's battles going on all the way back through this Pro-Am field.
Yeah, we got a lot of battling going on in this Pro-Am side-by-side race. There's Parsons going to the bottom, trying to get a little bit of a run in that 19. Look at, we're 3 wide coming back onto the oval once again.
Kosmecki was way up the race course there.
Yeah, Kosmecki found himself up on the podium.
22, Dylan Marquardt, yesterday's winner, is now out front ahead of Dylan Parsons. Berger in the 75 is now up to 3rd. Then it's Kosmecki, Letourneau, Cleast, Rimmeride, and all the rest all the way back on through this field. Riding along now with that number 99 Bikeman performance machine as
look
you see Kosmecki go around.
Yeah, Kosmecki throws it in there. Doesn't miss really much of a heartbeat, trying to make that pass stick on that outside. This is where it gets tricky coming into here.
Didn't look like a lot of water got put down, but definitely made this track, I think, a little slicker than some of these drivers expected. We've seen a couple drivers already pitch it a little bit too hard and over-rotate.
Yeah, coming through that Cooper's Tires turn, it's really, really tricky as they're flying through that rhythm section. So cool. Our area of view there up on top of these cars, we never see these kind of views in any other series. It's so cool to ride along and see what it's like here in Antigo, Wisconsin.
Yeah, really groundbreaking coverage from both of our drone pilots, Justin Smash and Captain Vanover, helping us out this weekend and all season long. You get a look there at the 75 of Berger trying to chase down Kosmecki. Kosmecki himself trying to chase down the 19 of Parsons. You see just Kosmecki having all kinds of problems down there in that left-hand hairpin. Berger just pushed wide as well. That's going to open the door for Letourneau in that number 99.
Here we go. There's Parsons again in that 19, just trying to wiggle his way up towards the front. Kosmecki now in the 94, still moving forward as they head back into this rhythm section one more time.
Berger feeling all kinds of heat from Letourneau as we ride along now with Dylan Parsons in the number 19.
Yeah, Dylan Parsons getting a nice run coming out here in the Pro AM side-by-side class. About 4.5 minutes left in this one as we head towards that mandatory competition caution being displayed. We're going to re-rack, restack this whole field here, Shane, and it's anybody's game from here on out. Look at Kosmecki, he moved up in the top 3. He's going to have another shot at this one. I mean, a lot of guys like it if you're in the back of the pack. They love the mandatory competition caution. But if you're up front and you're starting to check out, hey, man, you get in that groove and you take yourself out of that groove, you got to sit back and rethink everything over once again.
Right, and a lot of drivers that we're used to seeing run up front made mistakes there in the first half of that Pro-Am side-by-side race. This competition yellow also gives them a chance to kind of reset their mind a little bit. Take a couple deep breaths. Okay, you've seen the track now. You know how slick it is in certain spots. You know where the ruts are. Catch your breath, recollect yourself, and now really attack for this second half of this race.
Yeah, you really have to have your head on straight for this second half. As you see Marquardt in that 22 displaying that green flag. Very, very quick in round number 1. He does a lot of prep work. We had an opportunity to talk with the whole crew on Friday afternoon, and they put in the time. I was like, why are you guys stripping this thing down to nothing? He's like, if we don't get this red clay off these cars, we're going to be wiping them off the rest of the year, and it's going to stain these things. So the clay is really a big factor here this afternoon.
Yeah, looking at the rest of your running order, it's Marquardt in the lead, as you said. Then it's Parsons, Kosmecki, Berger, Letourneau rounding out your top 5, and our pace vehicle has pulled off. So the field now belongs to Dylan Marquardt. He'll take control and restart this race inside the restart zone.
Here we go. They're buttoned up. Bumper to bumper. As we see Marquardt going to lead the way. Watch as he comes down
slow
this.
too.
Yeah, watch as he comes down on that downside. Look at that. He checked up. He didn't take off right away, but it's up to him to do that.
And a bunch of drivers. We saw all kinds of man there. Christensen in big trouble down the front straight.
I mean, a lot of people are like, why didn't he take off? Well, there's 2 orange cones right in front of our crowd here, and he has the opportunity to take off at any given time. He just played a lot of mind games right there.
Yeah, he's pretty much the first driver we've seen wait any length of time, really. He waited about 2/3 of that restart zone before he took off. Like we've said, on those restarts, the driver in the lead restarts the race, not the flagman, so he can take off at any point between those cones. Brilliantly played there as he left everyone behind. Kosmecki now up into second around Parsons.
Yeah, Kosmecki with another good run in that 94. Here we go.
Chase Cleast on the charge as well. He's up into 4th.
There's Dylan Parsons on the bottom of our screen. We'll see if Kosmecki can put some laps together here and run down our race leader, Marquardt. Very, very fast here this afternoon. Again, looking for that sweep on the first weekend here. Wow, look at Kosmecki going really, really wide, Shane. Look at this, trying to make that pass stick on the outside.
Trying to run
get
the
that
cushion.
run, yeah.
Looking for any traction there on the outside of the racing line. He is closing that gap as they come back toward that left-hand hairpin. But Dylan Marquardt doing a great job staying down to the inside. You see that rut starting to develop there as well. Went up on the bicycle just for a moment.
There's Parsons, there's Kosmecki now. We're going back on board with him. Marquardt just, man, so smooth, so fast, playing mind games. I love it. Like, we watch all these classes time and time again throughout this weekend, and no one has waited that long. So maybe, hey, somebody's trying to put it in their pocketbook for later on this afternoon.
Looking at this race for third, Brent. Berger there running in third, but behind him, a whole mess of cars jockeying for position. The 12 of Chase Cleast is in that mix as well.
Well, look at this.
So Parsons third, it's Berger fourth.
Looks like
Dylan Marquardt alongside the number 93 of Austin McGee.
Sorry to cut you off, Shane, but it looked like Parsons had somebody else's fender in his windshield, so he'll have to make sure that thing don't come clearly in his vision. Here comes Kosmecki. Nice wide turn by Kosmecki as he has CJ Greaves in his ear. Yesterday he didn't. I'm sure he's back in his ear, and CJ, he knows just about every rock and where it's located on these off-road tracks, so keep an eye on Kosmecki.
Once again, out of the Cooper Tires corner and into that Air Force rhythm section. Kosmecki really going for broke there, just not quite enough speed to double into that section. Well, able to keep in touch here with Marquardt.
Yeah, Shane, he really needs to go now. He's in second. One more lap to go here in Pro AM side-by-side. Kosmecki, he's the man on the move. Let's see what he can do here with one to go.
Kosmecki turning up the heat now on Dylan Marquardt. Through turn one onto the backstretch.
Watch this, Shane. Watch here on this backstretch. Kosmecki's going to really widen out his turn to try to cross underneath Marquardt. But I know Marquardt, he's playing defensive. Right here, he's staying to that bottom, not allowing Kosmecki to get to that inside.
Marquardt actually ran a great line right up against that tractor tire and made it work. Didn't scrub hardly any speed as they go back down the infield straightaway.
Kosmecki really looking to the bottom here. He was really quick through the rhythm section on the last lap. We'll see, he was doubling out of this section as he puts the hammer down. We'll see if he can maybe make a last corner pass here.
He's gonna have to go for broke one last time into the Falcon final corner. Marquardt doing a great job playing defense. Checkered flag is out, and it's gonna be Dylan Marquardt from Lena taking the win back to back here in Pro-Am side-by-side. Great run by Kosmecki to come across the line second, and Parsons with that bodywork peeled up right in front of his eyes. Great driving by him to finish third. Berger will be fourth, and Tyson Marquardt in that number 2 rounds out the top 5.
What a great battle in this Pro-Am side-by-side class. And man, that's just some of the great action you're going to see all season long here. Just very, very quick, very determined, puts in the work, puts in the long hours. And hey, it pays off. Here we go, Shane. The green flag flies here in Pro Buggy. Anybody's game here on this start. A lot of great drivers in this class. There's already Van den Elsens.
Yeah, a lot of great veteran drivers. Our field winds its way through turn 1 and onto the backstretch. Hayward a little bit crossed up there. That's going to let Kirkham go into that race lead. Hayward this year driving Kirkham's car from last year. So 2 Kirkham cars, so to speak, battling it out up front.
Yeah.
And Steinhardt in the mix, and here comes Meister, yesterday's winner. Steinhardt and Kirkham are side by side. 2 guys from the Rhinelander area battling it out, and Steiny looks to have the race lead as they go into Cooper Tires corner.
Yeah, here comes Michael Meister on that inside. Steinhardt taking over that lead here early, going into the rhythm section. Just flying through this section. Oh,
whoa, big trouble.
Contact.
Mike Hester up and over.
Oh, you were just talking about him getting that 100th career victory. His chance of that has just gone out the window as we go back up to the front. It is Mark Steinhardt in that brand new car. He said yesterday, you know, I'm still trying to figure it out as we're going to take another look at this one. Watch on the bottom of your screen. There goes Hester.
Yeah, got tangled with another car. I believe that's, looks like the 94 of Meister. It was, Brent, the Ponzi number 94 of Mike Meister. And again, that's a racing incident. Those 2 guys have a ton of respect for one another. Hester's been doing this a long time. He's garnered that respect as a veteran driver. There's no doubt in my mind that Meister wanted nothing to do with getting involved with Hester there, especially in an open wheel class.
Yeah, it's anybody's
take a look at that
track.
on the race course. We've got the racetrack clear, so no yellow flags will come out.
Yeah, they got him cleared out of the way, but yeah, it's just really tricky. Look at those cars just dancing back and forth. A lot of suspension on these rides as we watch as we come into what will be our final turn. Here comes Michael Meister in that number 94 Ponzi back ride, putting the hammer down, trying to pick away another spot early on.
Yeah, Hayward, he's a rookie in Pro Buggy, doing a great job here holding off Meister, but Meister's going to look to the outside. Goes way wide up to the cushion on that clay surface.
Yeah, definitely a lot more grip up on that cushion. On that bottom line, it really does get slippery as they head back into this 180. And look at Meister. Meister just pitching it sideways.
Too far though, Brett. He goes around. That's going to let Hayward get back up into 3rd place.
Yeah, Paul Hayward moving into the Super Buggy division. I tell you, He is very, very good. He used to be in the 1600 single buggy class. Got a couple different wins. Cool to see him move up into pro buggy.
Yeah, actually raced light buggy before that, so he's working his way up through the buggy ranks here as we take a look at Mike Kirkham from Harshaw. As we said, he's in a new car for this year.
Yeah, different colors this season, brand new car.
Picked up a win in our final round last year at Crandon, but back out front, Mark Airsteiny Steinhardt, one of the greatest of all time to get behind the wheel of a 1600 car, now racing in super buggy for these last 5-6 years.
Yeah, I can remember Mark when I was a kid racing throughout the classes. Just really great race car driver, just one of the best. If you talk about all the buggy classes throughout our career there, Shane, you always heard the name Steinhardt. And hey, he's earned that name. He's very, very good at what he does. He knows how to work on these cars as well.
He's won 1,600 buggy races all over the country and some in Canada and some stadium races. As you see, that time, that's Karan that overcooked it just a little bit, almost collected Dave Hester in that number 12.
Yeah, you seen him lock up the rear tires and let it go at a perfect time, corrected that car. Here comes Van den Elzen. Van den Elzen going on the outside of Karan. He's going to go the long way around. Karan's got that inside line. We'll see how they come out of this.
Yeah, Karan looks to be a little bit off the pace there, Brent. As now Van den Elzen is alongside. Is that Meister in the number 94?
Yeah, that's Michael Meister.
So Meister trying to work his way back through the field. Working on Dave Van den Elzen now as we've reached our mid-race competition yellow.
Already
race
the
to
half
the line.
point.
Looks like Meister able to nose in front of Van den Elzen at the line.
Yeah, but it's been all Steinhardt here early on in that 31. Man, these races really fly by.
Steinhardt, Kirkham, Hayward, your top three. Then it's Michael Meister, Dave Van den Elzen, JD Karan, your top six. Then it's a big gap back here. One car that I haven't seen, Brent, is the 66 of Chris Van den Elzen. He was second on the podium yesterday. And he pulled off early in this one, as did the number 03 of Corey Fisher. So tough break for both of those guys.
Yeah, well, we're going to reset this whole field for you. Right here, Kirkham running second. Steinhardt still in the lead. There's Paul Hayward in third and Michael Meister in fourth. So a lot of great cars up front here. Steinhardt's really going to have to put his head down, hit his marks. And we've seen him in practice, actually, in the beginning parts of this weekend. He's over-rotating that infield section. I don't know if his tire groove or just car setup. He said he's been working on it all weekend long. Definitely going in the right direction.
Those changes he's made obviously starting to pay off here. As he led the first half of that one, he'll pick up those 2 bonus points. Good run for Kirkham, like we said. You know, got rid of the car that he had last year after winning a race in it the final round of last year. So why not? You know how to get to the top of the podium. Let's upgrade the equipment a little bit. Keep trying to move that program forward. He's sitting there in second.
Here we go. The pace truck is pulled off. We are at the halfway point of this race. Watch as Steinhardt brings the field around. Remember, those 2 orange cones are going to get really, really tricky here this afternoon. We watch Marquardt hold them right to the end of that second cone. We'll see when Steinhardt takes off. He goes right away, Shane.
Yeah, Steiny playing it safe there and taking off right at that first cone. He'll open up about a 2-car length lead over Kirkham down into turn 1. Again, Meister working on Hayward, trying to go to the outside. You know, Hayward, for a rookie in the class, doing a great job of playing defense, just holding that inside line.
Yeah, look at Meister. Meister's going to go on the outside, go the long way around. Hayward kind of stubs it for a second, as does JD Karan, so costing him a couple spots on the track. Here comes Meister to the bottom. We'll see if he can, he gives him a little love tap, says, hey, I'm right here. Look at how nice
the back bumper of Kirkham. Go ahead, Brent.
No, look at how nice of a line that Michael Meister's been setting up. He goes a little bit wider. Now he's clearing that first set, really figuring out that rhythm section.
Yeah, that's going to be a big advantage as our laps tick away here. About 2 minutes until we'll see our white flag and wheel-to-wheel contact between Meister and Kirkham there.
Yeah, Michael Meister really turning it on in this second half of the race. Kirkham always has been fast in this pro buggy division, a brand new car like we said. Meister has won multiple championships in the pro buggy division. Watch as he goes outside. He's going to try to go outside, inside,
Whoa,
but
Kirkham overcooks it, and he's
over-rotates.
going to go around. Meister able to steer clear. We'll see how quickly the 56 of Kirkham can get back pointed in the right direction and get it back under fire here. Now it's going to be JD Karan taking over that third spot. He's also in a new car for 2021 here. Kirkham drops back to fourth as we take a look. We got a battle for the lead.
Wow, here we
Meister
go.
with
Look
a
at
great
this.
run.
Look at Steinhardt. Steinhardt's going to try to run that outside. Here comes Michael Meister running a totally different line. He's going to get side by side. Can he take the lead?
At the finish line, Steiny coming back though. He's still on the outside. And
Oh,
just
look at
ran out of
Michael
room.
Meister.
Slide job on Steinhardt, but overcooked it a little bit. Steinhardt battling back. They touched wheels for a moment.
Now Steinhardt, he has to put his head down and try to get back around Michael Meister because, hey, time is definitely running out. And if anyone can hunt back down our leader, it's going to be Mark Steinhardt. He has so many years of experience in these buggies. Such a quick car by that Ponzi back 94 ride of Michael Meister as you see him come in on our screen going through that little chicane, going through Cooper Tires corner. You see how they're dancing the front wheels right off that second double. Michael Meister has it definitely dialed in here late in the race as we should be coming to the white flag this time by. One more lap to go.
Time is running out for Mark Steinhardt, and I'm looking at this gap and how much it's grown over that last lap between Meister and Steinhardt. It's going to take a mistake from Meister at this point for Steinhardt to get back in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. You're going to have to hope for a big mistake.
Taking a look back to third again, Brent. Kirkham has gotten back around JD Karan, so Kirkham back into the top three here. But up front, half a lap to go now, and it is all Michael Meister.
Steinhardt a ways back now in second. Good shot of Steiny's brand new car. Here's Michael Meister one more time coming through that little chicane after the Cooper Tires turn, and watch how he's got that thing just dialed in. Beautiful job by Michael Meister. One more turn to go, Shane.
Everything in rhythm here for Mike Meister. Down the Amsoil front straightaway, checkered flag is out. Michael Meister takes the win in round two and completes the weekend sweep here at Antigo. Second place across the line will be Mark Steinhardt, so one spot higher than he finished yesterday, and Mike Kirkham from Harshaw rounds out your top three. Karan will finish fourth, and Paul Hayward, a good strong run for him, finds himself in the top five at the end of round two of Super Buggy.
Well, here we go, Shane. The green flag is about to fly in Pro Lite. Looks like Troy Shaden on the outside is going to have that preferred line. We'll see how slippery it gets. Look at this already.
Matt Oreskovich in that 75 overcooked it a little bit. All crossed up. He's going to collect Bailey, Parrish, and a couple others.
Wow, look at Hager. Hager went up on the bicycle, so really having some issues getting through turn 1 and 2. There's Troy Shaden sneaking away, and look at Dax Shimmick. Shimmick now having a good run early.
Good early run as you saw another truck looped it there. We're riding along here with Mason Prater, that number 50, leading this field for the first time into Cooper Tires corner.
Oh, something happened to Prater. Prater's off.
Big time push there, Brent. He just locked up those front wheels, couldn't get the truck to turn in. That's going to let the number 12 of Brock Hager from El Centro, California take over this lead. I'm looking at that other truck there, the 19 of Point, and this is a great early run for Point, and he's up into second place around Prater.
Absolutely. Dylan Point didn't race much last year, but look at something's wrong with the steering on Mason Prater, or maybe it's just that slippery out there. He's driving hard in the corners. We'll have to keep an eye on that. There's Kyle Greaves. Won a lot of races last year. Look for Greaves to play a big factor, but right now Brock Hager is really trying to run away and hide early as he took the win in round number 1.
Further back in the field, you see the 50 of Mason Prater battling with that 81 of Maddox Bailey. And Bailey was on the podium yesterday, and more trouble there for the 50 of Prater. He's having all kinds of problems. I wonder if they, took a chance on tires and just guessed wrong, because this track, they put a lot of water into it in our brake, and the 50 of Prater having all kinds of problems.
Yeah, different tire combinations are huge. You don't know if they went with a mud terrain or an all-terrain, but for how hot it is out here this weekend, they probably went with a Blue Groove tire trying to get as much grip as possible. So early on, these trucks might not grip and hook up and go fast, but once this track starts to dry out, you're going to watch guys like Kyle Greaves and Mason Prater really start to hook up. Yeah, look at this, the battle we got going on in second.
Yeah, there's Hager, but for the moment, Greaves and the 19 of Poynton were side by side. Poynton running that high line, carrying a ton of speed out there.
Yeah, here comes Kyle Greaves. Sorry, Shane, didn't mean to cut you off. Here comes Kyle Greaves back to that inside, that tricky turn that we've seen all weekend long. But kudos to Poynton doing a fine job.
Let's see if that KGB Fab truck, that number 34, has anything for Poynton as they come into Cooper Tire's turn. Hager, meanwhile, stretching his lead. Trouble there for Poynton. Same exact thing we saw Prater do. Those front tires lock up. You lose all traction. You can't get that truck to turn in.
Absolutely not. Look at that, Dylan Poynton wheeling that truck through the rhythm section, allowing Kyle Greaves to start to run away from him on that lap. Now they're on the stretch here in Antigo, Wisconsin. They're going by what will be the finish line later on. And remember, Shane, these are timed races. We keep reminding people because usually we go by lap count. This year, we're going by times, and we're already at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, AMSOIL Championship Off-Road this year, borrowing a format from some other disciplines of motorsports. As we look back out front, Brock Hager in that Maxxis Tires number 12, all the way from El Centro, California, putting on a show here. He was yesterday's winner at round 1 of Pro Lite. But we talk about that time clock. Historically, and as long as we can remember, off-road has always gone by laps. You complete a set number of laps. First one to complete those laps, that's your race winner. Now we switch it to the time clock. We keep an eye on that clock. When it hits 0, the next time the leader comes by the flag stand, that's your white flag.
Here comes Brock Hager once again. Yeah, it's a little different, but all these drivers know what they're up against. You see how low of a line that Hager's running? He's down in the grass. He's lifting, going through that turn, just hugging that inside as Kyle Greaves. That KGB Customs ride really starting to hook up, and there's Dylan Poynton.
Yeah,
back
that
up in the front,
battle for third starting to heat up. Mamer starting to put some pressure on Poynton.
Wow,
you take a look at that battle. You can see Mamer really coming on strong on that Falcon Tires number 35.
Wow, look at Mamer. We talked about it all weekend long. They're going to start to go up by that fence and then creep down. They're starting to figure out that turn.
This is a good run right now for Dylan Poynton. Ran the first half of last year with us in Champ Off-Road and then bowed out for the second half of the year. Had some problems, decided to just regroup, come back stronger this year, and it's really showing right now as he's still holding off Cole Mamer.
Yeah, remember, these are fiberglass bodies on here. You see the bedside hanging off of Cole Mamer. That's fiberglass. It's replaceable, Shane. They don't care. These are tube-built chassis, and they really do hook up. They're very strong and safe.
Saw a great slide job pass there by Mamer in the Falcon Tires truck in that Falcon final corner. Put it down to the bottom. Mamer going way sideways into turn 1. Really letting it hang out right now. But he's been on the move. Mamer started outside that inversion. He started all the way back in 16th, so second to last, and he's up into the top 3.
Wow, Cole Mamer, very fast race car driver. Here comes Dylan Poynton. That's a Mikey Vandenheuvel built chassis. Very quick. He's adapting very well to that truck as we see Cole Mamer coming back to that Cooper Tires turn. Just see them pushing through that turn. So many different lines, but it just gets all tore up.
Yeah, very slick down there on that topsoil dirt in the Cooper Tires corner as we watch Mamer flying through the Air Force rhythm section. Poynton still keeping in touch there with Mamer, but Mamer, I'm seeing a little bit more forward bite out of Mamer in these corners.
Yeah, and we're coming to that mandatory competition caution, Shane, and you're right, Cole Mamer really getting a nice bite out of these turns, and look at that track. Starting to work its way in. You're going to start to see the holes develop here in the second half. We have some fiberglass flying on some of our trucks in the back of the pack, and there's Kyle Greaves.
Yeah, he's currently in second trying to chase down Brock Hager.
Yeah, Brock Hager really fast. All right, we're going to go down trackside with the third member of our team, Haley Shanley.
Thanks so much, guys. You know, Brock Hager just in another zip code there at the end of the first half, but a truck that's on the move is Kyle Greaves, who did line up 6th in this one. That's where he started, and he is actually right now the only driver to break a sub 56-second lap time. So Kyle Greaves is shaving off time as we speak, so this is really going to work in his favor if he's able to keep that momentum going, because we're re-racking him, restacking him here with this competition yellow. That's Kyle Greaves, number 34.
Yeah, thanks, Haley. You're absolutely right. Kyle Greaves showed a lot of speed there. I was surprised that he had the fastest lap, though, over Hager. So, like Haley said, watch Kyle Greaves in that number 34 KGB Customs Kenda Tires machine sitting there in second. But, again, Mamer charging from the back of the pack, started all the way in row number 8, worked his way up to 3rd. We know he's going to factor into this race win as well.
Yeah, Kyle Greaves, he's going to be one to watch here in this second half, laying down some quick lap times. It's so cool. Him and his father, Kurt Greaves, they build these trucks from the ground up. It's amazing what these guys can do. A lot of these drivers in the class, they're hands-on. That's why they come so far in their racing career, because they know what the truck does. They know what it needs to do. As we're ready to go back to the green flag here, Shane, it's Brock Hager, Kyle Greaves, Cole Mamer, your top 3. Don't count out Dylan Point.
Hager takes off. We're back under green flag racing. He took off right at that first cone at the restart zone. Now we'll see if Kyle Greaves, he had that fastest lap in the first half. Can he put that speed to work for him and catch up to Brock Hager?
Right, it's one thing to be fast, but you have a fast group of guys coming behind. There's Maddox Bailey now. The hood's starting to flop around, trying to make his way up into the top 5. Here comes Maddox Bailey, gives Point a little love tap.
Forcing his way past. Forced his way past Point in there. That was more than a tap, Brent. A lot of contact between those two, and we might see that drama continue as they go through Cooper Tire's corner. Point throwing it back in on Bailey. A great battle for 4th.
Boy, it looks like there's a magnet on the back of Dylan Point. Maddox Bailey just riding all over the back bumper. Oh, Greaves goes up on the bicycle, sets it back down. As you can see, the track really starting to come apart, coming back onto the oval. As you see, Maddox Bailey still working on Dylan Point.
Here's that side-by-side battle down into turn 1. Bailey on the inside now of Point, throwing that truck in there sideways. Point carrying that outside line on the cushion.
So much fun watching these drivers dancing that steering wheel as they come through this field. There's Dylan Point, Max Bailey a little hot coming in.
Again, that's your battle for 4th. I'm looking back at 6th. I saw a glimpse there. Chad Rayford running up in 6th now. Another driver that had some bad luck yesterday, but always does well on these technical tracks.
Yeah, he's an ex-quad racer. He really knows how to get around these short, tight tracks. We talked about him coming into this weekend as, boy, Maddox Bailey really having some issues.
Bailey ran into the Cooper Tires turn a little too hot. You saw him have to cut across the grass.
Wow, I just watched on the bottom of our screen as you were saying that, Shane, coming out of that rhythm section, it developed a 2-3 foot hole. They're actually jumping in. It's almost like a braking bump going into the final turn.
Cole Mamer, that number 35 Falcon Tires truck, running in 3rd. Point still there in 4th, though. We're riding right above that 35 truck, Cole Mamer.
Look at Kyle Greaves. Greaves trying to reel in Hager. He kind of slipped on that inside turn. It's like an ice rink down on the bottom. We'll have to see if Greaves can put it together, but look at Cole Mamer. Mamer wants a piece of second.
Mamer put together a couple really good corners here. He's looking to the inside of Greaves. A lot of traction, forward bite there out of that number 34 KGB Customs ride of Kyle Greaves.
Wow.
But then he gets sent off to the side there.
I don't know, when you're coming through that rhythm section, those guys have been trying to run a little bit wider, trying to get a better apex on the turn. I don't know. They're missing the second half of that rhythm as we look at Kyle Greaves, Shane. He looks really, really fast, but Hager is just that much quicker.
Yeah, we haven't talked a whole lot about Hager, even though he's out there in front. Haven't seen a whole lot of him. There's Brock Hager as he goes down the backstretch. We'll watch him navigate this hard left-hander. And you see Hager, compared to some of these other guys, not a whole lot of sawing back and forth at the wheel. Very controlled, very deliberate input on that steering wheel.
Yeah, you never want a double turn coming in or out of the turns, and he's doing a fine job. Kyle Greaves, like I said, he won a lot last year, but Brock Hager, he's been one to beat here in rounds 1 and 2. Oh, look at that.
Mamer over-rotated. He's going to have to drive through the grass to get back onto the race course. Point still holding strong in 4th.
You've seen that little flame coming out the right side of Kyle Greaves. That's excess fuel coming out of the truck. There's no harm, no foul. Just trying to get rid of that excess fuel. Like I said, here comes Cole Mamer by what will be our finish line as we go back up with Kyle Greaves.
Greaves making his way through the oval turn. Still putting down some really fast laps, but he's got about 10 car lengths. You can see it there that he's got to make up if he wants to compete here for this win with Brock Hager.
So much work to try to hunt down Brock Hager, but if anyone can do it, Kyle Greaves can get it done. Like I said, he's hands-on. He's building these trucks as well as Cole Maber. Both these trucks are hand-built from the ground up. Actually, all these Pro Lights are. But these drivers, I love seeing these drivers. It goes all the way to Johnny, CJ Greaves, Kyle LeDuc. They're always building their own trucks, and the cream does come to the top.
Mamer, again, you see, trying to jump almost off that rhythm section at the tail end of it. You want to set up way wide. Mamer putting down some really fast laps as well, but right now our top three starting to spread out a little bit. Boynton is all alone back there in fourth.
Well, Shane, time is definitely running out. Kyle Greaves coming around that turn, the left wheel in the air. Looks like a sprint car hanging it out, trying to reel in that man right there. The Maxxis Tires ride of Brock Hager. Wow, what a tight turn there. He really has that turn dialed in.
Going back to the theme of the weekend so far for all these races, Brent, limiting those mistakes. I haven't seen a single mistake yet out of Hager. That might mean that he's due for one. Look at that. Greaves went up and over. You can see it in that drone shot. Greaves now back underway. That's going to let Mamer move up into second place.
Oh, man, Kyle Greaves. He looked to be hunting down Brock Hager little by little, but put it upside down.
Yeah, Greaves is back underway, though. He's still on the race course in third. He got back on the race line in front of Boynton. So that'll put Mamer, that man right there in the Falcon Tires machine, up into second, and we have one lap to go here in Pro Light.
One lap to go here in Antigo, Wisconsin, and look at Brock Hager. Just clean out front. A little bit of dirt on the front of that truck. He had to work his way up to that first place spot, but man, he looks so strong here early on in the 2021 season.
Yeah, on his way to back-to-back wins here at Antigo Lions Roaring Raceway rounds 1 and 2. Like we've said, this is a 12-round championship series for all these drivers, but you cannot possibly get off to a better start than 2 wins in the opening weekend.
Yeah, you get the most possible points here for Brock Hager, jumping in and out of that rhythm section. Watch as he comes across here, just going through those braking bumps, carrying his speed up to the cushion, Shane. This is one straightaway to go for Brock Hager. He's going to do it. Sweeping the weekend once again. The number 12 Maxxis ride, Brock Hager.
Cole Mamer, a good run for him across the line second. And how about Kyle Greaves? Rolled the truck clean over. Had such a gap between him and Boynton. He was able to get back underway and finish third.
Oh, look at Boynton right to the end, getting crossed up. It looks like Chad Rayford snuck that position away.
Boynton's going to finish with a flat tire there. And I am going to check in, Brent, with our timing and scoring, folks. We're going to look back. You can see right here, Kyle Greaves. You'll see it right there. Hooked that rut. We talked about those ruts that developed down there in Cooper Tires Corner. Here's another look at it. Yeah, you saw it there. Yeah, and he still came in third place. Went up on the bicycle with a lot of momentum, a lot of sideways momentum in that corner. Just barely couldn't make the save, but tip of the cap to Kyle Greaves to collect himself. And obviously a well-built truck had handled a rollover, and he still finishes on the podium here.